All right. I think if I played my cards right and did everything correctly, we are live. And it's been way too long, my thirsty friends on Tasty Tuesday. Um, Having a little kind of just a get together tonight. Going to be doing something a little differently, but not too crazy. Um, I did reach out to Eric earlier. Last week, I wasn't feeling very well, I remember, and then this week he was actually in France. So that it's been kind of a whirlwind, I'm sure, for him. But we still have we still have some shows to do at some point. So when we're able to meet back together, I'm sure we'll be able to finish off. We had some I want to say Vendromic. We also had some Benriach, some Glenellicky, and maybe even some Amaret at some point. I'll have to talk with him about how he wants to do some of these also on the side. But it's been a while. Yeah, good to see you there, Mr. Daniel. So many of you wearing glasses. I'll be damned. I've always wore glasses, man. What the hell? I was gonna say, kidding. It's been that long though. It feels like it's been an eternity, and I am super thirsty. So I hope you guys are too. What are you guys drinking tonight? Please share some of the stuff that you're sipping on, and I'll go through the motions after I say hi real fast. It's good to see you, Conan, and they're in California. Um, yeah, it's been pretty good. Work's been pretty busy. Health things have been going on, um, but nothing bad. No, nothing crazy or anything. Just sorting out different things and took a little break at the same time I was trying to figure out what to do next, and we'll get to that a little bit too, um, for specifics of what I might get into. Hey, just stopping by to say hi. Thanks a lot, Donner, for at least stopping in to say hello to everybody. Hopefully, when you do get home, you can have a little, a few sippies. Good to see you there, one in Hawaii. Aloha. Good to see you there. It's been too long. Yeah, man. Really good to see Paul here. Gary K as well. Oh, where's the Torvig compared to the Ardnamurchan? That's a good question that we will talk about. I'm glad you brought that up because I might start something a little new with the channel possibly. Hi everyone, drinking some Travel Retail Jura. Wow, 19. You're a brave man. My wife finally made a trip to England last week for work and got it at Heathrow. She's a brave lady too. You'll have to tell me what you think. Go through the nose and the palate and the finish, and let us know what you think. I definitely like it when you guys share, amongst yourselves at the same time that I might be tasting something with Steven or whoever shows up. And speaking of, Stephen Connor and I were talking a little earlier about maybe doing a show together tonight. I think he might be joining me at some point. No problem, man. I know how it goes. Lurking in the background. The I'm glad you guys know everybody already too. It's kind of cool. It's like our own little community. And I've been talking with Steven about maybe I want to make it more interactive. One thing that's I've noticed about a lot of channels is a lot of guys are really good about content and editing and putting fancy things together and or having great interviews or whatever it may be. But there's not really a whiskey channel that's specifically more, I guess. Getting other people like involved with the whole discussion and the whole round. So I'm thinking that we might start doing some more comparisons, some more what you might call shootouts, and some channels do occasional shootouts and stuff like that. Instead of I've been kind of fixated on collecting bottles from every distillery and all that, and some distilleries are pretty famous. Lagavulin. All my videos get thousands of views if it's a Lagavulin or if it's like a Lafroig or an Ardbeg. Typically, when I'm really good about getting my hands on like a new bottle or something. But I know a lot of you guys really aren't as interested in some of these lesser known ones. I might still talk about them on occasion, especially if we are doing a comparison and if I know one of them will hold up and stand up to a more like well known version of something. So stand by. We're going to start doing more. direct comparisons, and I'm going to let you guys pick the next subject if there's some sort of consistent, like a, if more than 3 or 4 people agree on certain type of topic, you guys can talk about it amongst yourself during the show, come up with what you want tonight. And I think Daniel had a great idea. No, it wasn't Daniel. It was Cohen. Sorry about that, Cohen. Uh, Cohen knew, and you guys knew that I was going to talk tonight about tonight the Ardnamurchan, which is done by Adelphi. Adelphi. I'm not sure how you pronounce that particularly. I'm going to assume it's Adelphi, but when things are Scottish, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes I know there's are certain like rules to Gaelic, and I do remember like the BH is a soft V, that type of thing. MH, that type of thing as well. The Kilhoman is one of those weird deals where you don't treat it as like loch. It's the ch sometimes gives you that guttural thing. But anyway, I can get off in tangents all night. But um, the Ardnamurchan is a new bottling it came from Adelphi, which is known as an independent bottler, and they've been around for quite some time. I didn't know until tonight. I was kind of doing some digging just to learn about them because I already knew I really really like them as an independent bottler. They're probably my top 2 or 3, if they're not the best out of all the ones I've had, and I've had a lot of Adelphi. Um, Mostly sherry bombs, really good ones. I guess I should try a little bit more before I dub them the king, but I've never been let down by any of their bottlings. They've always been high BV, no coloring, no chill filtering, no bullshit, straightforward, great whiskey. And when I heard that they were doing their own single malt, I was like, wow, that's a no-brainer. You got to try it. I've been lucky enough to try their first and the inaugural the initial release, and was very pleasantly surprised with how good it was. So when I heard that they had this AD/03.21 colon '02, and it sounds like it's a mouthful, but it's basically the 80 slash like that type of format. When I saw that this was available, I'm like, I gotta snag it, and it's a peated offering. They do have unpeated offerings uh at Ardnamurchan, but this one particularly is peated. The weird thing is this is also a Western Highlands. It's a Highlands distillery in Scotland, not Islay, not Campbelltown. It doesn't have to be peated, of course, but most of your well-known distilleries are from there. This is going to be interesting to take a look at that on the side. And Cohen brought up the fact that maybe we should look at this in comparison to another new distillery that's come about recently. I'm gonna have to leave you guys just for 1 second and get the bottle. I'll be right back. And I need a hug. No, I need a huge glass of whiskey, by the way. Anyway, um, we're gonna do a comparison with another new distillery, and I've got some left. Thank God I didn't go through that too fast. This is the 2017 Torvig Isle of Skye, I believe. Yep, and Swiss is an islands, which is more of your like Talisker esque. Typically briny, typically maritime notes, that kind of thing. So that might make it a big difference, but we'll have to get into the weeds more on these two and see which one stands out as far as maybe quality being better, maybe not. Maybe one will shine when it comes to the peat, the style, the barley. We'll get into the weeds more and more as we go along. And I think my friend Stephen Connor will be joining us here in a little bit too, if he has time. He had a concert I know he had was dealing with at the same time. So uh, if not, then we'll definitely invite him back as soon as we can. But I think he might be joining us to have some discussions on this kind of stuff as well. Wow, I'm way behind. Let's see. Yeah, tell me what you think about that Jura, man. That sounds fantastic. Maybe if it's done well. That 21 I thought was okay, but it took a long time to open up, and it was extremely spicy, like very heavily cinnamon based. This isn't a bad Jura, 45.6% ABV, finished in PX cast that's supposedly held in sherry for 40 years. Wow, man. That sounds good. Wow, that's not the profile I thought you were gonna say. Is it spicy? Like the draw I had was extremely spicy. I'm just curious. Let's see. Artisanal wine and spirits of Mountain View. Nice. Too slow. Good to see you. I have a few pours. The Compass Box Orchard House. It's pretty underwhelming. Feeling young and spirit tasty. Ooh. Excuse me, guys. I mean, a cough in your all's ear. Won't buy again. Oak Cross was a better core whiskey. Not surprised, man. Sometimes, I mean, Compass Box is usually I like what I've received from them, but everyone's got hit and misses and ones that maybe underwhelm compared to like if they hit it out of the park with something like I love phenomenology. If they did like a phenomenology 2, or if they released like another whiskey blend that had that type of profile, I could see it having to really measure up because phenomenology to me is like a 4.5 out of 5 star type whiskey. It's that good. So it'd be really tough for them, I think, to beat that profile. The Long Road Red Pinot Noir. That sounds damn good. What's the ABV and the? Is that an age statement or is that just a like a flat 7 maybe? Or do you know anything more about that one? I'll tell you guys what I'm having as a warm up dram tonight. I'm not going to go peat. We are going to have a peated whiskey or two, but I decided to go with something classic, celebratory, really nice dram. But you have to be, want to be in this profile to, I think, really enjoy it at what it's the way it's supposed to be. This is a Othrosk. I know it sounds weird me seeing it that way, but that's how you pronounce it, Othrosk. It's the 25-year limited edition. I got this. I guess it's been about a month or so. I can't remember. It's been a while. 3,954 bottles in 2016, matured American and European oak casks. No chill filtering, no coloring. That it's cast strength and 51.2% ABV. I believe. Let me make sure about that coloring, chill filtering, because I think this might be. Is this a Diageo product? If I'm not mistaken, yes. So that's actually the. I would say that the jury's out, maybe on um the coloring, but I doubt. I mean, this is 25. I doubt they would bother color if they're going to color it. Why would you color it this color unless you're just coloring for consistency, possibly? But the Ardnamurchan is actually darker than this, and it's 7 years old. So there you go. Woo. Oh man, I hope you guys have come in a good mood because I'm so happy it's finally Tasty Tuesday. Been wanting to find the Art Market. This will be interesting to hear everyone's thoughts. Yeah, let me know if you guys have had this one. This is specifically on the Art Market that we were talking about, the 32102. Oh, the red is an 11-year, 53.1. That sounds beautiful, man. Oh, I'm gonna have. I've only had, let's see, the long row peated regular. I'm trying to remember if I ever had a chance to had. I know I had the Hazelburn, Oloroso stuff. Really loved it. I'm trying to remember if I ever had a proper red. It might be a negative on that. I have to give it a try. I want the long row red. I think 18. I think they have an 18 or 21. That would be glorious, but got to save up for that puppy. It is very spicy. Okay, not off-putting, more savory than sweet, which is surprising considering those PX casts they use for the finish. I wonder if have you ever had a Longmorn 16? And if you have, how would you compare it to that? Because that's a spicy yet savory whiskey that's good quality. 16 years of age. Can't remember as far as the chill filtering and coloring and stuff, but I remember having a decent ABV too. I think it's like 46 if I had to go by memory. It's been like 3 or 4 years since I've had it, but it was memorable enough for me to remember that it tasted a lot like when if you've ever had an Ethiopian sambusa, which is like a spicy pastry. It's really a lot like that to me in flavor and the whole experience with the had like cardamom and coriander and cumin and all these crazy spices and like you said, no sweetness hardly at all. Mostly savory, earthiness, hot, but not crazy hot, and not like cinnamon hot. More like nutmeggy kind of just general chili almost. With I mean not Thai chili, but you know what I'm talking about. Like super spicy, like more like an Indian kind of a spicy kind of a feel, curry spice kind of a thing, I'd say. What do you think about that, Andrew? That was curiosity, but this one has been going pretty well, I have to say. Not a cheap bottle, unfortunately, but with being cast strength and it being something that a few thousand options out there, I figure what the hell, it's once in a lifetime kind of stuff with this. It really sits well. I've been letting this sit out for quite a while. 25 years. I usually do 25 minutes as my, not a rule, but I try to let it sit out, pretty well before I get into the weeds here. Let me. I think Steven just dropped by. Let's add him to the stream. Steven, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you off guard, but I saw
Oh
you
no, it's
join.
fine. I want to get into the chat here too. So
That's cool, man. Let me turn my headset up a little bit so I can hear you better. There we go. How's it been going, man?
good, good. Just living the dream, right?
Thank goodness. Yeah, everything's been going pretty well with work and
Yeah,
everything. And I'm sure you've been keeping busy too.
I have. I have. It's been good, and and still buying the whiskey too. So trying to keep up with that.
Yeah, we'll have to go through some of the stuff we've picked up recently. What about
Yeah.
you? What have you? What is something a couple things that's shined out more so than others recently that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah. Give me a
Sure.
second. I'm gonna get pulled in here on the chat,
No,
and then
that's
when I
cool.
do, then we can. Sorry, I got in trying to
I'm gonna
get.
go into this Othros 25. I've been. It's kind of funny when I heard about the profile. I thought, well, I might not love it, but maybe it'll grow on me. And sure enough, it really has. It's more of if you're into florals, more lighter
Hmm.
notes. If you're into like, but it still has your typical like your honeys and your toffees and things like that. But if you want more of a effervescent floral dram Highland, and this is funny. This is definitely a what I would consider a Highland-esque. I can't remember if Othrosk is a Highland. I believe they would be. Let me double check before I
Let me see if I can pull
make a
this.
definite statement on that. The yeah, Othrosk is not one of those well-known ones. I
Yeah.
know that what you call them, Diageo runs them, but they don't really they really talk about them. But they've always been a quality dram. That's why I'm surprised they don't like emphasize their existence a little more. Maybe let them stand out because I mean, they have like lots of different years and
Right.
different types of offerings. But maybe because it is such a it is one on a more floral side. It's a space side, which is really surprising to me because this really noses like a very exquisitely done Highland would. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
it reminds me of like if I never had the Dalwhinnie at 30, but if I ever had a chance to have it, that's just what it probably would be a lot like. I'm envisioning in my head. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really awesome combination of florals and fruits right off the get go.
Yeah. Let me find something to pour real quick. I need something. So
Yeah, I thought this would be a good starter. Cause we're
yeah. I
only
mean,
going
I
to
had
the
a good
peak,
like
but
I think we talked a little bit earlier. I had a great tasting last night, so I'm take it somewhat easy tonight because last night was it wasn't crazy or anything, but it was a good night. It was a good night.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was good.
These guys know how to party. Let's just put it that
It
way.
was a good tasting.
Oh man.
Let's see
And
here.
it does have this. It's all well balanced. It's got this almost like sour, gingery kind of note in the background that goes along with the sweetness from the florals and the fruit sweetness too.
Hmm.
Almost like a I don't want to say fermentation, but like a slight pickling kind of a thing. Just enough to maybe from the age too.
So I'm going for a start off little Bunnahabhain 25. An old,
Oh, you're killing me, man.
yeah, this is an old, little older one. So it's 46.3 though. They before this it was 43, and then they came out with these at 46.3. They are still, I believe, someone could correct me. I think they're at least 46, maybe 46.3 still, but it's a slightly newer version of the bottle. So
They
this is
should
the
be.
old wooden case. This one is so.
That's a killer, man. It's funny that there's a few distilleries that have their 25-year-old bottles sitting at these astronomically higher prices compared to other ones. And Bunnahabhain does always kind of sit at that 600, 650. I've seen, price point.
They went up a lot. It just just a few years ago. I mean, I got this for $380. So
Jeez, man, now you're really killing me.
yeah, I mean, I got a few. Even some on the secondary market were pretty cheap. So it's gone up a lot since, but just because like
Double.
everything else, like everything else has, right? So
Yeah, like I think the worst is maybe Highland Park with their 25 being like 750. I mean, some
yeah.
just crazy high.
Well, that's where you look overseas. I mean, seriously, you look overseas because you can get a lot cheaper over there.
It's just so sad to have to play the whole import export like
Yeah,
crazy game, but yeah.
it's like I mean, I get some things I can get it quicker than I can from California. So it's not really. I don't think anyone, if it's a reputable company, I think it's worth looking at. And if it gets shipped to your state, not all places ship, but things like and some of them are too expensive to ship, like Whiskey Exchange.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, I mean, they're great. They have a lot of product, but it's very expensive shipping. But there's a lot of good sites out there you can get not super expensive,
Yeah.
shipping, and still a lot cheaper than you can buy things here in the States. So
Yeah, last time I went to a Whiskey Exchange, I tried to think of a few bottles to pick up, and it was just like the shipping. Yeah, the cost was just so crazy high compared to some other shippers out there. So if you do your homework,
yeah,
you can
you got
sometimes
to do your
find some good
homework. That's the
places.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to do your homework, and
but
but they're out there.
but you know what I mean. Like, but across the board, usually those 25-year-old bottles for those particular ones are always like two to $300 more than some of these other, like the
Right.
25s I usually run into seem like they stay around 500 ish typically, which is kind of a nice like middle deal. And I mean, sometimes you get lucky and see ones that are cheaper, like Tulare might not be the best
Right.
25, but it's like $300, Or the Glenfarclas is another really good
Yeah.
example of that, where it's like the ABV is not high, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've stepped out. I got the Glen Scotia 25, the new version, and
Oh,
we'll see. I don't, I do like Glen Scotia. A lot of them what I've had. I think it's an up and coming distillery. They're doing good things, but yeah, we'll see. The reviews have been good. It's not cheap, but it's not crazy pricing on it. So it's, especially if you bought it overseas. So yeah, I'm excited to try it.
I hear you. And one thing that crept on me on this Othros 25 is that the spice level is higher than I remember. It's like
Hmm.
got a bit more white pepper, not a black pepper, but a white pepper kind of a spice kick to it, to the palate. But it's still really good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's cast strength at 51.2, so I mean
cool.
it's pretty good. But I don't know, man. You don't like the like if have you ever had like a Dalwhinnie 30 or something kind of like a real old Highland type light whiskey?
A light, not. I mean, I probably have. I don't. I mean, trying to think what it would be. I mean, yeah. I mean, the lighter whiskeys. I just don't. I don't gravitate toward those too much. Yeah. So that I'm trying to. I'd have to think about it honestly. I don't have. I'm just trying. I don't have a lot of light whiskeys in my collection.
Oh, I hear you. Like,
So
maybe Bell Blair is probably the closest that I
yeah,
could think
yeah,
of that you would like. That it's not necessarily like a dark whiskey or a
right,
smoky or
right.
um, even peated or anything. But one thing I like about this is it does have a lot of flavor, even though it is like a Highland esque, type whiskey. What you do get is very powerful. So
Hmm.
I think that's why I thought, what, for the ABV and for the age and for the just the fact that it's both European and American oak together, I thought
Right.
it's got to be pretty good. I'm thinking, even though there's refill, um, but It's a tough one to
Yeah.
judge on this one.
What so other than that, what other bottles have you? And I'll tell you some that I've got, but just might as well just
Yeah.
let people know what have you gotten lately?
Recently, the Glen Elgin 18 was one I picked up recently. I haven't ever talked to anybody about that one yet. That's one that I might bring up on the side in the future. Um, I finally got my hands on my own Brook Black Arts. It's the 8.1.
Right.
I was lucky enough to taste the 4.1, the 5.1, and
Mm-hmm.
the 6.1. And my favorites was the 4 being
Yeah.
outstanding, the 5
Right.
being great but not as good, and then the 6 being actually worse.
Yeah.
But thankfully, this 8 reminds me a lot of the 5. It's not as good as, I don't think, maybe as the 4, but it's right there, I think, with the 5 as far
No, that's
as
good to know. Okay.
potency and
Yeah.
flavor. But
I
that
like
one's
the.
a
I've only had. I had the 3 and the 4. I don't think I've had the 5 or 6 or anything. It just kind of lost my attention when it started going down in ABV, and I think the quality. If it just hasn't, it didn't keep at the 4 level. So I was like, I just wasn't, not going to invest any money in it. But I mean, if the 8's like the 5, I mean, that's good. I mean, they're putting out a good product again. Sounds like.
Yeah, I think it took from what I remember, and don't quote me on this, but
Mm.
from what I remember, I think there was a distiller that was there. He did like the first 4 or 5, and then someone else came in for number
Jim
6.
McEwen. Yeah, Jim McEwen is the the master. I guess distiller is what his title was there. He put out 4 was his last one, I believe.
Oh, 4 was his last one. Well, no
I think
wonder the
so.
5 was so different. Yeah,
Yeah, I think 4 was the last one.
the 5 was. I mean, the 5. Even though I thought the 6 was a lot worse, the 5 I thought was still quality and yeah, but yeah, I've heard that after I only had the 6, the 7 I've heard was even worse than the 6. But
Yeah.
this 8 supposedly is kind of, I guess maybe they had better casks to use, because they don't tell you what casks they use, unfortunately, with the Black Arts. It's all,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's the only guy that supposedly knows the recipe and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, it all could be all kinds of things, right? It could be, yeah. There's just no telling.
But yeah, the only other thing that I picked up was I did I, w- I remember when I was going through my whiskey journey and trying all the distilleries. One of them that I did not like very much was the Taninic. It was the
Hmm.
10 Flora and Fauna bottle. And when I saw Dustin's review of the 17, and he gave it kind of a crushingly painful review, I kind of put it off to the side for a long, long time, because I thought,
Hmm.
it doesn't sound like it's going to be up my alley. But I did went ahead and I got the Taninic 17 bottle, and
Yeah.
I'm halfway, maybe a little bit above halfway through, and I, I'm not going to say it's worth the money. Like, it's around 330 to 340 for it, but
Hmm.
at the same time, I do think it's better than the way he kind of presented the review. I mean, you do have to like a certain profile to get into
Yeah.
it, and I think
Right.
it's just, unless you like a real woody, like Sprite, even though if it's an older whiskey as far as 17, it still has a very bright, crisp wood feel to it.
Hmm. Okay.
It is very woody, but all the wood here to me is a little more fresh feeling. And I like it better than the old, like, I don't like the overly oaky, real dank whiskeys like the
Right.
triple wood from Lafroig. I like the cast strength version. I didn't like the regular version that much, because I think the wood was just too much in your face for some reason. I don't know
Right.
why,
Yeah.
but this one, it does have a lot of wood in your face. But I think that if you do like a fruity, kind of a woody, but yet uh, almost like a maple type of a thing. It's
Hmm.
actually not bad. It's not that bad. I don't know if I'd give it a 4, but I would give it like a 3 point. I don't know, 7.5 ish,
Okay.
3.5,
Yeah.
3.75 maybe. Nothing to go and scream and have a party about, but definitely not something I would turn down if I was at a
Yeah.
tasting or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I haven't. I don't think I mean, I think I have probably tried one or two, but I don't recall them. Is this how do you pronounce it?
The Taninic,
Anemic. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've had a couple of them, and I have a buddy that is into older ones, and he's been picking up a few. So
This is 55.9 as well.
Oh
got a great
wow.
ABV on
Okay.
it
Yeah.
for and this is a distillery bottle. That's why reason I got it, because I was trying to find an older, give them another chance. Since the 10 was so depressing, I thought,
Right.
well, let's give them another chance. And with the higher ABV and with the older age, to
Yeah.
me, it's like night and day different than that 10-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's cool. The problem is you're spending 300 something bucks, right, for a
It's
little bit better than average whiskey, I
too
guess. Right.
pricey. That's the
Yeah. The
problem.
price is
Yeah,
the problem. So
but
yeah.
that's one thing I will say. It was one of the hardest whiskeys to get my hands on locally. Even overseas, you don't see some of these very often. Like when I was trying to find some of these off the wall distilleries, some of the
Mhm.
higher aged ones are really tough to find. I think that's why you see some of this price. I don't want to say gouging, but definitely increases on some of the stuff.
Yeah, no,
The ABV is a big one
and
too.
the auctions have been just incredible on what these whiskeys, especially the ones that are sought after, what they're going for. It's prices increases are just across the board. I mean, I know that bourbon is kind of going crazy, but single malts of certain ilk have just been blowing and going too. Just I keep up with the auctions a lot, so I mean that's there's it's just incredible the amount of increase some of these bottles have had in the last say 8 to right maybe right after pandemic. It seemed like it started well. You know what? Honestly, it started once the tariffs dropped off and the Americans got back into it on the auction sites. So I think that's a big part of it. Just you've got a lot more demand because people like me are like at least looking at these bottles more closely and trying to find the good ones, and just they're going up in price. Only takes one other person really wanting that bottle for the price to go up. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Jack was asking about a 10-year independent bottle of 10 at cast strength. How it would be, I don't know, man. The 10-year thing, I think, is where it kind of really hurt that profile. It just didn't have enough time to
Right.
register much, and I don't know if adding, if it being independent and being at cast strength more ABV would really help that much. I think it
Hmm.
would just be more. It's still astringent when it's a 10, no matter I think how you mess with it. I think you need the extra 7 years really,
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll show you a few of mine. And this is the last probably 2 or 3 weeks that I kind of got a bunch in lately. But I'll start off. I do have one, technically a bourbon, but it's a Tennessee whiskey too. But it's an interesting one. I don't buy a lot of bourbon per year or Tennessee whiskey, but I get a few that I really look for. But this is to me, I'm in, of course, as you know, I live in Tennessee, so I've kind of, it's kind of cool to see. And I've been a Tennessean almost my entire life, but um, this is a Jack Daniels, but it's a 10-year-old. It's
oh
the
wow,
first. So it's the first age stated 10-year-old that they've had in I think close to 100 years, if not longer, 120
wow.
years probably. I think it's the 1800s the last time they had a 10-year-old. Um, so that's kind of cool. It's 48, also 48.5. So it's
Oh
a little higher,
wow.
I wish it was a little higher than that, but that's for bourbon. I do like them in the 50s. But still, I think it's going to be interesting to try and open up. So I just got this not long ago, so that'll be fun to try.
That sounds damn
Um,
good.
yeah, I mean, and Lynchburg's not far from me, so um, let's see. I did get. Let's see, this is it here. Yeah, I've got the Atma. They have a brand new Atma that just came out.
Oh wow,
So it's the Ex Fino unpeated.
wow.
So that'd be a cool one to get.
We had the peated port together
That's
not too
right.
long
That's
ago.
right.
That was a
Yeah.
really great bottle. So if it's that quality, man, I'm sure it's great whiskey.
Yeah, and it was a lot. It was only 150, so it was a little bit cheaper than I think
Wow.
the peated port one. So, um,
That definitely, because yeah, the other one was like 160 to 170, I think I want to
yeah,
say.
yeah, it was. I got 3 GlenDronach single casts from auction.
Ooh, man.
So, and I got a couple of that I have already. The 652 and 653, which are that's the
Those
cast
are very
numbers.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I've had a lot of it, and those are fantastic single cask. I mean, they are top notch, some of the best Glendronics I've ever had.
Wow.
Very good. The 652 especially. Put out by the 653 was a Green Welly shop, which is a
Yeah, I know them.
almost literally a like a truck stop in the middle of the Highlands is what it is. And they
It's
have a
awesome
liquor
though,
store
man.
there.
I've actually gotten whiskey from them directly before.
Yeah. I've been to their shop, and I
Oh
mean, it
wow,
is it's like a truck stop with just with a little whiskey shop in it. So
that's wild,
um,
man.
yeah, it's funny. And then the other one, the 652, which I love, is I believe that is, oh, which I forgot. That's Abbey whiskey out of UK too.
I've heard of
And
them
they do
too. Yeah.
usually a great job picking. And then lastly is one I've been looking for a while, but I got it. But it's the 660,
Ooh.
24-year-old 660, which is out of Germany. It
Oh
was
wow.
released for only in the German market, and but it's 59.2. It's a
Wow.
24-year-old, all first fill Oloroso, which is kind of my jam when it comes to Glendronach.
I'm gonna
So
guess 1200.
no, not even not that much. No,
I'm
not even
gonna
close. Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
won't say, but it's a lot less than that.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of how much would that go for at that type of profile
Lot
and
less than
everything.
that. I mean,
Oh, that's good then.
these are going up in price, right? Because you're not getting good Glendronachs anymore, really,
No.
to this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my computer. I'm trying to get it going again.
Oh, that's cool. You
Yeah,
know how it
but
goes.
so that's the Glendronachs. I got three different wines, and then
Better be careful with those glass bottles, man.
oh yeah, well I got nice and everything's kind of secure, so that's good.
I'd have a
Um,
freaking dog in there.
yeah, I got a single cast
I'd have me a
nation.
Nikita, and it would be guarding all time.
Well, I've got some good stuff put in here. It's secure, um, and then I've got a locally I was able to find this at a really good price, but a Port Dundas
Ooh,
42-year-old single cast nation.
nice.
Um, so it's and I've had this and it's really good. The Lowlands region,
Give me
51.7.
Give me 1 second to check something. I'll be right back
Okay,
because I think I might have a Port Dundas. I can't remember what the age is. Give me 1 second
yeah,
just to check.
go
I'll be
ahead.
right back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
This is a 28-year at Clandini. It's an independent bottling
Yeah,
of Port Dundas. It's 50% ABV, natural colored and non-chill filtered. Distilled 10/88, bottled 517. It's got a cast number and everything. One of 249 bottles. Wow.
hmm
It was a sample from somebody, uh, and sadly, when we were going through all the distilleries, I noticed that I did not really care too much about the grain ones.
yeah,
So I kind of thought, you know what, I better put a couple of these aside so I get a little more through some of this, so I can maybe appreciate them
yeah,
more.
yeah.
So I haven't opened it yet, sadly, and I've been meaning to do a review on it for ages, but I just never did because I was so nervous. Because unless it was like a 30 to 40-year-old in Invergordon or something like that, I just could not get into the grain whiskey. It's a tough one to
Yeah,
me.
no, I understand that. It's just there's some good ones, and this is one that I enjoyed.
Is that your favorite grain? Is the Port Dundas, or have you had like North British and some of the other ones?
I haven't had any North British. I've had the Invergordon. I've got a pretty older one than that I drank. I've got some of that left, but I haven't. Honestly, I haven't spent a lot of time in the single grain.
I've got one
So
other one I think that's still unopened too. I think it's a Cameron Bridge. Have you heard of them before?
I have.
I had to check that out, but it's kind of I kind of feel bad, but I'll definitely still post the review when I get to it. It's like 5 years late, but I'll have to try to get through that at some point. I'll probably like it more now since I've had a lot of more different ones to kind of base it off of, at
All
least.
right. I think I got my computer back up so I can see the chat. So that's good. Um,
Cool deal. I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little bit of this. Have you, by chance, had an Ardnamurchan
I
before?
haven't. I haven't.
Have not. Okay.
Yeah,
Have you, by chance, had the Torvig yet?
I haven't.
Okay. That Steven and I were talking a little earlier about maybe the direction of the show and stuff, and the one thing I think he had a great idea on was maybe doing some more comparisons. And tonight I already was planning on taking a look at this new Ardnamurchan, which is it's Highland, but this is a peated offering from Adelphi, which runs the distillery. It's their new bread and butter. It's non-chill filtered, not colored. It's 7 years old and is at 46.8%, and it's peated. So I was going to go kind of head to head, see in comparison with the new Torvig, which is also a peated whiskey. That's not Isla or Campbelltown. It's the Islands area. It's Isle of Skye specifically, and this is also around it's 46%. Um, Different profile as far as area, but I thought maybe we could take a look at those
Yeah,
and see what you think of.
yeah, and I'll show you one more bottle because I left the best for last.
Sure. Uh-oh. It gets better than that old Glendronach? I don't believe that, man.
Yeah, no, this is, I have never been a huge Glengoyne fan, but
Ooh.
supposedly this is one of the best Glengoynes that have ever been bottled.
Uh-oh.
So this is,
Better than a 25, I take it.
yeah, it's not the 25. Yeah, this is a Glengoyne 40-year-old.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude.
1972 Diamonds, Malts of Scotland.
Oh wow.
Diamond's the warehouse for a diamond. They put out fantastic stuff. But this one, 55.5, you can look at that color.
72.
1972, which is my birth year. And
Oh man.
But it drew my attention. Then I read the reviews and I read whiskyfun.com, which is Serge, and his reviews, and he's not as big of a sherry fan or a sherry bomb fan.
Man, wow.
But then some other people that I trust on the some of the sites. But I just got this in, and really looking forward to opening this. This is as black as anything I have.
40. It's a 40 year.
Yeah, 40-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
And supposedly the highest. I mean, if you look at whiskybase.com, anything that has a decent amount of reviews, this is the highest rated Glengoyne at about 93 something for this one.
As dark as that sucker is, I'm not surprised, man. That's just crazy.
Dark doesn't always been good. I sometimes I like. I mean, my sherry bombs are the Glengoynes are dark. I mean, in the Glendronachs here are dark, and that. Yeah, it's usually a good sign that it's going to be better sometimes. I mean, but I do want some balance a little bit. I don't want it to be just all sherry because I'll be honest with you. I have some of my darkest ones are the Cavalan sherry, like some of the Solist.
Oh yeah, those Vino Solus, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
Solus, but you know what? I haven't really had many of those that I've loved because they're too sherried. They're too balsamic vinegar. They're not very balanced. They're very cask heavy, and if you like that, it's fine. Just I like to have at least some wood, some balance when it comes to the distillate, at least some form or fashion, and the Glendronachs, I can still get that even in the 24 to 30-year-olds. And then I've heard that this Glengoyne, even though it's probably first fill being that dark for 40 years, it's still there's a lot going on with it. So.
When you talk about the cask heaviness, do you if you encounter what you would consider like a heavily, almost overly sherried, unbalanced whiskey, do you always get sulfuric notes from it, or is that just kind of sometimes not so much?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, not always. It just where it's it feels like it's just I might as well be drinking sherry, instead of Scotch.
Gotcha.
But I have heavily sherried whiskeys, so I love them. And I love the taste of a good sherry. Oloroso sherries I love, but it's it's a kind of still a balance. I mean, it can be very dry. I mean, not as Fino like, but still it's it separates the great ones, right? I'm talking this. This is that Glengoyne is probably. I've read reviews where it's been up against, and some really heavy hitters have rated it one of the best shared whiskeys ever. I mean, it's like I'm talking up there against, ultra old ones from the 60s and 50s and going on. So that it really drew my attention when it was put to that level.
If it can hold against a Macallan of an older one, especially, then
Yeah,
that's
I have no
got to be
doubt.
pretty good.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Because that sucker was so dark, you couldn't even see anything.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, that's not anything I want to open like right away.
No, I don't blame you, man. That's definitely your birthday or
yeah,
some sort of
you never
special
know.
occasion.
That might be one. It's a 72, so that could be one of them.
I gotta find me a 75 bottle of something at some point. I guess I better start saving up for it. It's gonna be crazy.
Man, they're just not getting cheaper. I might be, sacrificing my kids' tuition right now. Call it tuition, but I'm trying to buy. I'm trying to buy up before because they just keep going up the price, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. So it's not I don't consider it an investment, but if I ever have to sell an awful lot of whiskey, I think it'll be fine. So that's the nice thing about it is that's not losing value. But I plan to open everything I'm buying, but we'll see. It's hard to open that many bottles. So.
Yeah, I was telling the guys that when we talk about the comparisons and stuff too, that I'm gonna kind of open it up to them and to hopefully, if there's not a consistency, we'll just pick something. But hopefully they can, if there's 3 or 4 of the same kind of theme that people are wanting to see happen, then I was gonna, pick 2 like we talked about, like maybe 2 Islet peated or 2 Sherry Monsters or 2 Highland whatever. I mean, we can definitely go wherever we want to go with it.
Yeah, just good to try. Having something somewhat like 2 good Islas, right? The same the 10-year Islas or whatever, or 2 good independent bottlings that and independent bottlings are a little different because they're one of a kind usually, or
right,
single cast.
I think it's like the same profile, like a Delphi Sherry Bomb from like Deanston versus a single cast nation Sherry Bomb from Ben Nevis. I'm sure that would be an interesting kind of deal.
Yeah, or just or even just I mean, I had a couple of things last night that were very different. That's from the same distillery. It's and still sherry, but still very different. So it all it's interesting.
Just going on the nose on these 2, the profiles are so different. It's crazy. I mean, you definitely get peat, thankfully up front on both, but there's definitely I mean, there's so much different with it between the 2. It's hard to even know where to start.
Let's see. So Daniel's asking about an 82. You know what? I would say if he's looking for an 82, if he likes, this is what I gravitate towards. But I know that these are some of the best years for that distillery, at least in my opinion, what I've had. And I think Kalila, I'm just talking to Dan because he asked a question. And I think Kalila, for a good value, if you could find an older one. In fact, let's see. Well,
yeah, 30-year-old.
These aren't cheap, but let me see if this is an 82. 83. It's an 83. So this was one of my favorite Kalilas of all time, which is an 82.
Oh, wow.
A Kalila 35 official release.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Strength.
And, man.
Yeah, no, and this is 58.1 at 35 years old.
$750, I'm assuming?
More than that now. It used to be.
Okay. About 1,000.
More than that now. You're not able to get it now. It was released in 2018.
Oh, man.
So it'd be hard to find, but if you can, do some research. But I'm just giving an example of 82.
Yeah.
I think it's
look for an older Kalila, either distillery or even independent, and you could probably get a really good deal that way, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to see some other ones I have here. Kalilas there's an 84, so it's close. But so I've got a lot of 80 Kalilas in the early 80s because that from 79 to about 84, Kalila was just on point. They just doing great things, and they seem to age really well around that time. So you can get an older one. There's a lot of other ones. I'd probably say an 80s, early 80s. Well, that's kind of the expensive one, but um, I'm trying to think what
So
else would
these are
be.
so different.
Yeah.
The Torvig has got this. The Torvig is definitely on the nose. It's more barbecue. It kind of reminds me of a Lafroig or a Ardbeg a little bit more. It's got this, but it's also got this really nice earthy, fruity thing going on in the background. The Ardnamurchan, though, it doesn't have the barbecue in your face as much, but it's peated. But this is more, I think, of a fruit forward. It doesn't have the barbecue kind of pulled pork notes that the Torvig does, but this one,
Hmm.
it's not bad. It's just more of it has a nuttier kind of a more of a cashew pecan praline thing going
Yeah.
on with the peat.
See,
It's
I'm not a fan of the big barbecue notes on a sherry. Is it sherry? I'm sure. I guess it's sherry, right? I mean, I would think it would be to have barbecue notes.
speaking of uh the well, the one with the barbecue actually is not the Ardnamurchan. The Ardnamurchan is the one that it does have sherry. It's got both let's see. This is the peated, and there are two versions of this, so you got to be careful with the
Yeah.
Ardnamurchan. There's a 700 milliliter bottle that's got a different ABV, so it does depend on what if you get it from the States versus the UK. But either way, it's I believe this is both. Yeah, 35% sherry cask, 65% ex bourbon cask,
Hmm.
50-50 split on peated and unpeated. It's unchill filtered natural color 46.8 on this specific type of wine. Um, this other guy, the one that has the more barbecue kind of notes is the Island Steel. This one, I believe, was straightforward, but let me verify that. It's an oak casks. It's definitely smoky, small batch for 100 barrels. 2017 oak cask. They don't really. I don't think the barbecue one is the has sherry, but let me verify that one last way here before I say for sure. That's the Torveg. These are both new distilleries, so it's not one that we run into very often. That's why I don't have these memorized like I do some of these other types of casks. Yeah, this one's first fill bourbon on the more barbecuey note one. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It definitely has more of a, I'd say a, it's not like overly smoked barbecue. It just has this like really nice pulled pork barbecue esque type of deal going on with it, and it's got more maritime and briny notes, which I do would expect from a Isle of Skye / Islands release.
Hmm.
The Ardnamurchan is definitely more fruit, walnut, cashew, praline, pecan kind of thing going on with the peat. And this is the one that has the sherry and the bourbon in it. It's got a really nice boatload of fruits going on with it too, which I'm not saying I like one more than another. I'm going back and forth, and I'm definitely getting totally different profiles, even though they're both peated. With them being from different areas, though, I think it's definitely making it easier to determine, the differences between the two. But
Yeah.
I say the Torvig's definitely got like a little, maybe pinch of a vegetal note in it too, compared to the Ardnamurchan. It's got more of a floral thing versus a vegetal thing. The Torvig's more earthier, I'd say.
Hmm.
The Ardnamurchan is, man, they're both well balanced, I have to say. So I can't really say I like one more than another. As the profiles are just both pretty nice and complex for a youthful 7 year ish whiskey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
What you sipping on tonight, if anything?
I've still got the Bunnahabhain, and I'm gonna probably.
Tell me go through some of the notes on that if you don't mind, because I've never
I mean,
been lucky enough to have
it's
the
a classic
25.
sherry, Bunnahabhain, and it's very well done.
Like if you can remember the 18, like I have had the 18 thankfully a few
Well, this is a
times.
lot more sherried.
Okay.
It's a lot more sherry. just your classic sherry notes.
Is it does this one have any like nuttiness going on, like hazelnuts or?
Yeah, I mean, on the palate, I'm
Okay,
almost done with it, so it's hard on the nose now. But
that's okay. Like
hazelnuts, yeah, I can see some hazelnuts in there. It's not. I don't think it's the dominant note, but
with the 18, I was also lucky enough to get some really nice dark chocolate, but sweet dark chocolate notes.
yep,
This has got
yep,
that too, I imagine.
yep, it does. But it's like I said, but it's good. It's well balanced. It's really super well done. Um, it's like I said, I don't have much in there. You can't really see the color now, but it's I don't know if it's all. It could be a combination of first and second fill. It could be just for second fill, but a nice active second fill, but not too. So it's not super dark, but it's definitely well sherried and no color added. So and I believe no chill filter on these Bunnahabhains. I know they all don't have a bleach chill filtering either. Not sure that says it on this.
I've got a question for you here in a second. I'm gonna
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, but this is fantastic. Definitely, it's not worth $700 or something, but it's I'd say $400. Yeah, easily worth the $400 price close to what I paid. So I've got one left. So and this one's about done. It's literally maybe one more pour after this, and then that one's done. So
I'm looking up the.
And then I'll probably pour. I had a lot of peat last night, but I think I'm going to pour something I had last night, which was I opened a. This will probably be interesting for your everybody in the chat, but it's a Lagavulin from Shill 2014.
Oh man,
So
that's killer.
It is very heavily sherried Lagavulin, and 19-year-old.
I suppose they haven't drank that one yet, man.
Well, I mean, I've been drinking the 25-year-old, right? So,
I hear you. Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah, so maybe I can do you know what? Maybe I'll do a comparison.
That would be a good comparison to do because they're both like definitely way up there.
Yeah. This was the 25 came out in 2016, so this is a 2014. This is a 25. It's a 19. One is 51.7, the other 54.7. So this would be, they're both. I did think about similarities between this one last night, these two. So I'll pour and do a little comparison.
That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be a perfect deal to look at. The on the Bunnahabhain deal, the 18 still runs. It looks like between 150 to 160, 170, somewhere around that area.
Yeah.
When it comes to the price point of going from that 170, we'll say for the 18 to the 600 for the 25, do you really think it's even if you're a huge Bunnahabhain whiskey fan, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't pay 600 for the 25, so.
Okay.
And I haven't had the newer 18 either. I have enough of I look for the old 18s, honestly. So
yeah. No, I agree. I'm the same way. My last 18 was the gold box. It wasn't even a tube. It was like a box.
Yeah, the box. That's what I have. The box is kind of a gold with black. And
exactly.
Yeah. That's the one that I really like. And that's one of the first whiskeys. That's one of the first high-end whiskeys that got me into high-end whiskey. Right, it got me into the above north of 100. Here. Yeah, it really did. That's a special place in my heart. I really like that whiskey.
And even for 160, 170, it's definitely, I would say, worth it all day long. I'm just like, man, I wish it wasn't such a huge gap between the two, going from the 18 to 25 price wise. But if you can find it for $400 or $500, I mean, if you've looked recently and if you could find it for less than, we'll say $550, I would be extremely interested, because I even had a few other people looking with me and we could not find it cheaper than I think it was $550. I mean,
for which one?
For the Bunnahabhain 25.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, you can sometimes find it. You got to it's of a little hole in the wall shop or something that has some old ones. I found a really old one in Memphis, but it was a 43%er for like 400. And
that's still awesome compared.
Yeah. No, it was even older than the 46. So it was in the wood box, but it was even older. And then they started coming out with the 46, I believe. When I don't know if that's when the present owner came to bought them or not, but that's that. So all right. So this is a Dustin. Looks like Dustin is here.
Hey, Dustin, good to see you,
Yeah.
man.
So I'm going to tell him. I'm just going to do a comparison to Dustin. I opened and Dustin he's probably had this one, but it's the 2014
Let me pop you out
Fuchile
here. There you go.
Lagavulin 19-year-old.
Twenty fourteen
One
to
of the good ones
95.
before
Wow.
they so I opened this last night to taste it. I'll compare it against the 25-year-old just to see what the difference is in. A lot of difference in definitely difference in cost, but this the 2014 has gone up a lot in value.
Sounds awesome, man. Yeah, so far the noses on these two definitely a huge difference. I'm going in for a drink on both. The Ardnamurchan's really good. I mean, it kind of flows down the same path as the nose as far as it's got more of a nuttiness.
Yeah,
It's got a slight peat smoke to it, which is perfect. It's it's sweet, but it's got some nice spice to it.
yeah,
Let me see about this other one. The Torveg is good, but it's definitely more got a brininess, more maritime seashell kind of thing going on. It's not as peppery as his Talisker. It does have a slight white pepper going on to it. It still has some nice sweetness.
yeah.
It's definitely earthier than the other one. Hmm. I think the Ardnamurchan is well. I think personally, subjectively, I like it a little better than the Torveg, but I think it's just only because of the style differences, not really a quality difference. I think they're both quality whiskeys for, especially for being newer 7-year-old whiskey, if you know what I mean. What do you think about those sherries, man? I bet that's got to be tough.
Yeah, I mean color wise, the 25 is a little darker. I don't know if you can. I don't really have anything to show behind it, but that gives you an idea. This is the 19. This is the
Yeah,
25. So you can see a difference. Even
it's a slight difference. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely noticeable, but not definitely both sherried. I'll let this sit for a little bit too and open up, but it's 25 is richer. The much more peat on the 2014.
Hmm. Not so. I guess not surprising if
A little
it's
more,
like
yeah, a little more orange note on the 2014 too.
we're talking only 4 years difference on the age, right?
That's no, 6 years.
Oh, 6 years. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
That could be considerable. Maybe that's the reason why the peat is a little stronger on the more.
yeah.
I want to say
Not
young, but
necessarily. Like I think I've had enough older peated whiskey that I think so. I've had some that have been. It depends on the distillery sometimes too, but I've had a lot of. It depends on a lot of circumstances, but I've had a lot of older whiskeys that have youthfulness to it from a peat standpoint.
oh, okay. I
So
was wondering if you've ever had like a 25 or 30-year-old Lafroig, for example, that had a lot of it still retained its peak. Because
yes, I
once
have.
you get past the 18 on like I was lucky enough to have a 30, 32 at one point. It was a distillery bottle, but
Yeah.
the peat was just not as strong as I was hoping for. But it wasn't cast strength, which might make a
That
huge
is
difference too.
yeah that is a lot of times the distillery bottlings are like that, and it's look a lot of times it's just it is, but there's outliers out there that it just adds complexity to the
They'll
peat,
pack a punch
and it
still.
can be and it can still pack a punch. I think some Kalilas I've had they can hold the peat really well. Of course, Port Ellens that I've had it can
Did,
a
didn't
ton
you
of peat.
guys really like a Lafroig 32 or 30 recently that was really, really well received? I think you guys liked one recently, right? Like a cast strength Lafroig that was like 25 maybe or something like
I
that.
mean, there's a few that I've had. I mean that I had. Let me see. I'll make sure I don't mix these up.
I think it
But
was maybe more recent, but I can't remember like when
well, I
this
mean,
was.
this is one of the most sublime whiskeys I've had in a long time. But this was we had this not my bottle, but it was Kenny's, my friend.
Yeah,
We had that last night,
the 30.
and
Yes,
but it's an old 30, and it's
yeah.
very dark. and it's the peat or the peat. Look, this is not a peat monster at all,
Right.
but it is peaty, and it is some of the notes are incredible. The sherry, the cask used for this, first rate,
Oh wow.
incredible.
Is it
Uh,
Oloroso or PX
it's
or?
Oloroso,
Okay.
but it's fudgy, but it's got character. It's only 43%.
Nice though, man.
This was
30
bottled.
years
This
in the
was
sherry,
bottled. This
man.
is 70s Lefroy, right? So,
Wow. Yeah.
um,
Is it
fantastic.
all in the sherry cask for a long, long time, or is it one of those where they do it for 20 years in an ex bourbon and they finish it for like 5 or 7
Yeah, no,
years in a?
see, no, this was. I can almost tell you this was first fill or second fill all the way through 30 years.
Nice.
This was not finished.
It's really hard to find
This
those.
was this was back when, yeah. Well, this is back when they didn't really do that much. They didn't have to do it then, right? This is the late
Right.
'90s. This was bottled in the late '90s.
Oh man.
So
I
they
bet
probably
that's
had
phenomenal.
all this stuff sitting around. They weren't selling it anyway, so they didn't have to go and try to beef up some whiskey and add, fresh sherry to a cat. Have some, try to go the short route.
Oh
Really,
yeah, like
this is the real deal.
have you ever had that new or I want to say new-ish sherry oak that they released that 10-year, man? It's
I
so
haven't. I haven't.
wild. It's like when I first heard of it, I thought it was going to be more like their PX, more of like a sweeter peat kind of a feel. It's the most savoriest non-sweeted peated sherry dram I've ever had. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it or if I love it. It's a very savory, even though it's like heavily sherried, it's very, very savory, as all I can
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see if you ever, hopefully, you'll get a chance to have a sample because I don't want you to have to buy a bottle of it because I don't even think I would really buy one for myself. But I
Right.
am intrigued to try it again, like if I could have a sample just to see what it was, the feel of it. It kind of reminded me of like a Longhorn. It was really savory, savory.
Yeah. Oh, now these are both very good. The nose is, that. Yeah, the 25 is definitely winning on the nose. From just a complexity standpoint, it uses a great sherry cask too. This 25 does. And I still know where these are for sale too. These 25 Lefroy are the Lagavulins, which in a store.
Wow, dude, that's crazy.
For retail. So
The 25, if I remember right, when I was in, and this is Annapolis, so we're talking high crazy market downtown Annapolis,
yeah,
Mills Fine Wine and Spirits. I think they had it for like 1,200. Is that
yeah.
like
No, it's
right?
retail. It's 12.99. I think was around retail. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was surprised at how much, man. Woo.
Well, especially released back in 2016. That was a lot for that back then. A lot.
Yeah.
Still is. Still is.
I have to say, I mean, I think they're both quality whiskeys. I prefer the profile of the Ardnamurchan and the finish even. I mean, the Torvig's got a nice finish. It is long, but it's more of like a white ashtray kind of a finish,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like the Ardbeg and No kind of thing. If you if ever had that before, it's like a sweet mint kind of a thing. The Torvig is definitely more of a minty, mentholish kind of a barbecue maritime seashell extravaganza, basically. The Ardnamurchan's more earthier. It's got more of a like it's just a smoky, but the profile's more on a chocolate praline and cream kind of feel. And I think the finish is just as long. I think I just prefer it subjectively. Not saying the craft is better, but the Ardnamurchan
Yeah.
I think is if I was going to buy another bottle, I definitely would buy the Ardnamurchan before I would buy another Torvig. But not knocking the Torvig, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
But both, I mean, for 7 years, man, it's amazing what these guys are doing already. I think we do have some really good up and coming. Give them another 10 years, and we're going to see some really nice stuff from both these guys at some point. I would think.
Yeah. I mean, the 25 is the clear winner of these two, honestly. For me,
I'm
I like.
surprised you were going to say that because I thought you were going to say that the was it 19?
Yeah.
I thought the 19 was going to have more of a don't want to say punch, but a little more oomph to it, I guess. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised. 25 still
Yeah,
got
I
to it.
mean, does the 19 have a little bit more peat? But to me, that's I don't judge whiskeys by the level of peat.
Right.
So I mean, the complexity, the taste.
I mean, it
Um,
does. It does like affect the like if you had a really quality Octomore 7.2, for example, or something like that. I think you would like you do like the heavier peated whiskey too at the same time,
yes,
right?
I mean yeah, definitely. I mean almost majority of my. I mean, Isla is probably the majority of my whiskey. So
That's one thing I
yeah,
was going to ask you. I meant to ask you earlier because I know you're a huge, an avid collector of Glendronach and Lafroig and some other ones, but I was surprised that you never got into the some of the Octomore series. Is it because the age just isn't there yet? Is that why you haven't really gravitated
I mean,
towards collecting those
I
guys?
have an Octomore here. I have two Octomores, but for the price,
Yeah,
um, and what I've had, I'm just I can move my. I'd rather spend my money on the other things that I'm looking for. That's all. I mean, it's good. It's a very great product, and it's good. And but I mean, look, I had
do you think if they
obviously
had some
one that was
30-year-old
all right. It's
options, it
not.
would?
I wouldn't buy. This is a 10-year old. Um, this is the October 10.
Mhm.
So this was released in 20. What was this released? Uh, Probably Dustin can tell us because I'm not as big on the Octomore, but it's I
I
think
bet
this
it's
is
so good.
maybe 2020, 2019, or wait, no, bottled in 2020.
Okay,
So it's a 10-year-old Octomore. So it's a pretty old Octomore, right? I mean,
right.
and I might, I need to try it again. And when I opened it, it was fine. It was, it was all right. It just wasn't, this is 54.3%.
What is that
Uh,
price? If you don't mind me asking, what is the price point on that one?
I can't remember what I paid for it. It was retail. The ppm is 208. That's probably the entry level of the P. But it's
No, that's actually really high. The
no.
169
When I
is
say
the
entry
entry
level, it's
level
what they.
usually.
It's not the final. It's what that goes in the barley when it's peated. It's not. That's what I'm talking about. Entry it goes in.
Gotcha.
It's not
Sorry.
the final product as it when it comes out. That's what I mean.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and look, this was good. It's just limited edition. It's only 12,000 bottles, so this is limited, I guess, but still
Yeah.
But
Do you,
it was fine. It wasn't. It didn't blow my socks off. I wouldn't want to buy it again, honestly, for the price. After that's just I'm not giving a review of it because that's on the
right.
next pour. I haven't gone into it again, but
Do
now
you think
one that I
if
do love.
do you hold on? Do you think if it
Yeah,
was 30 years old, if there was a 30-year-old Octomore option, do you think you might be more inclined to collect it if it was the same price, if it was just older?
same price as what I mean. It's not going to be the same price as a 10-year-old, right? So it's.
But I mean, if it was, if they had a
Oh,
30-year-old
I don't know. I don't know what the
version
spirit.
of that, do you
I
think
have
that
no
would make
idea
a
what the spirit would
difference?
do with 30 years in the wood, right? So you don't,
Yeah.
it's some spirits don't take it as well the age, and I don't, who knows? It just I don't know. It's a hard thing to say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with. It's just it wasn't. I mean, it's still 10 years old. I love a lot of 10-year-old whiskeys.
I wish they had
But
a I wish they had a peated version of the Black Arts. I think that would be really interesting to see what they could
they
do.
do,
Oh, do they?
and I'm
What
about to
is it?
show you.
Oh, okay.
It's
Sorry. Oh, the OBA. I've heard of that, but I never had one.
only 500 milliliter.
Oh, damn, dude. That's
That is
crazy.
that is the peated version of Black Art.
That's the concept, dude.
That's
Oh,
right.
oh, dude. Okay,
Well,
hold on.
look what it
Hold on.
says. Look
Hold
at
on.
this.
I'm about to lose it here.
OBA Black Art. That's what the BA stands for.
I'm gonna lose it, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy. How the hell did you find this? I've
Well,
I've heard of them, but I've never seen one.
yeah, it's I had this one in I was able to try this and I do love this one.
I
I'm
can
not gonna lie,
imagine.
I do love it. And I tried it in when I was in Scotland at the Bowmore Hotel in Bowmore, and the guy who the son of the owner was there, and we sat and we drank and talked whiskey for 2 nights in a row, and I got a lot of free whiskey from him, which was
Oh
great. And
my
this was one of
goodness.
my free pours,
Oh, God.
and it was
I'll have
fantastic.
I'll
I
have one
loved
of
it.
those,
Yeah,
please.
I loved it, and it was like it reminded me of the 4.1, but heavily peated.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that's like my dream whiskey,
And
man.
that's the only time I had it, but I was able to find a bottle, and these are not cheap. These are because they're very limited. Um, I'm trying to see how many bottles this put out.
This is 300 milliliters, right?
500.
I'm sorry, 500.
Yeah.
So at 500, I'm gonna guess. Is this more than a grand, man? Please tell me no.
No, it's not more than a gram.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have hope someday to acquire it. That's just crazy to think about spending that kind of money on a bottle. But my
Yeah. Okay. So,
God, if I
yeah.
could honestly, like thinking to it myself after trying over 200 and whatever different distilleries and being all over the place and fine tuning what I personally my dream dram would be like, it would
Yeah.
be the Black Arts in a peated fashion that had
Yeah.
the peat kind of reminiscent of like an Ugadal peat, kind of a
Yeah. I don't recall if it was Ogadal peated or not, but it was, heavily peated. It was good. I mean, it was fantastic. It
oh
was.
my
I mean, it wasn't the best
goodness.
whiskey I had over there, of course, but it was very good, and it's enough for me to search out a bottle, or
Yeah, you
maybe
got a
I might
bottle
try to find
yourself.
another one. I missed out on one here just about a month ago, so on the
Please
secondary.
promise me that before you ever think about selling something like that, you would
I won't
definitely let me
sell them.
know.
I'll drink this. I'll drink this.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Please
um,
promise me that you'll never ever think, okay, I'm just not going to deal with this. I'm going to sell it and not tell Telex, please, because I will be
no,
the
no, no,
first
no.
person to
I'll
probably
let you
buy
know.
it from
Yeah,
you.
I'll let you know. I mean, and looking at Dustin's comments, he said there's three releases of the Octomore 10. I knew there would have been more than one, but yeah,
Oh,
he didn't.
wow.
I guess he didn't like this either. The 10 that came out in 2020, and then
Huh.
he likes the
5 years old.
Octomores around 5 years old. Yeah, and he's right. Who knows if they're good at
Interesting.
30? You just don't know what a spirit will do sitting. It's funny because some spirits are not good young, right? I mean, some are kind of you try some that are, or at least some people might not like because they're a little rougher, right? It's the Mortlocks or something that, but
But
you age it for a while and it can be
But wouldn't it be
glorious.
kind of compared to that OBA like concept? Wouldn't it be kind of like in that realm since it is their deal and it's older and it's peated and wouldn't you think it would have that kind of similar profile to it, or do you think it's just totally different?
No idea, no idea what
Yeah.
the cut. I mean, you just don't know. You really don't. Just because it's a great spirit because they do, it's really. I think as Dustin says, it's probably a very narrow cut, right? That's when they do it. So it's a very high quality spirit that they're putting in. That's just one reason why it's more expensive. But the thing is, we just don't know what it would do in cast. It just might be fabulous, or it might be kind of boring. Who
Yeah.
knows? If it loses some of the peat, it could be a little bit boring. It doesn't. You just don't know what it would do. That's. I'm sure it'd be great, but it'd be for them to do that, probably that narrow of a cut. It'd be super expensive too. They might come out with an older version. Who knows? But it could be. You
Yeah.
know, who knows what it would be? I don't know. But
I can only imagine
so
what
it's
that.
fine. I am honestly, I'm a neophyte when it comes to Brook Lottie in general, the distillery. I like some Port Charlottes. I do like those. Octomores are fine. I like the OBA, like I said. I've had some other good Octomores, but nothing that I just have to
Is there
have.
is there anything that and it could be subjective. I understand how that goes, but
Yeah.
is there anything that beats that OBA concept for you, like personally? Is there a dram that which dram would beat that for you? I just can't imagine something being better than that.
Oh yeah, I can find a lot. Did you see the Port Ellens up there?
Well, true, 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 true. I wasn't
Dude,
thinking about the unicorn bottles, but you're right. Those
I'm thinking of unicorn bottles, and I mean that OBA is a unicorn bottle. You couldn't buy that. It was like
that's true.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was only distillery only. There's very few bottles of that. That's a unicorn bottle too.
Oh man,
I mean, I'm looking at a
dream
72.
killer.
I'm looking at a 72 and 76 Ardbeg that I probably beat it. I'm sure.
That's a good
I'm,
point. No, I
I
mean
see some
more.
Auroras up there. I see some Springbanks that I probably would rather have. I see
When
some
you
good
hold on,
Nevises I would rather have.
the spring banks that you'd rather have, what would be the one that would stand out the most?
Well, I mean, I've had this. This is my second bottle of this, so this was not open. This is a fantastic, one of the better Springbanks I've had. It's a 25-year-old Springbank.
Ooh, single malt
It's
Scotch
sherry.
whiskey,
It is. It's this is
25 from
one of 100
Pittsburgh.
bottles, and 25-year
Hold
old.
on. Is this an old version of the 25 distillery bottle?
No, it's not distillery. It was cask 420, and this was also, I think Masters of Malt had 100 bottles of it too.
Okay.
So at 53.2% ABV, it's was in the 2017, and this 100 bottles was for Bleeding Heart restaurants and by the Water of Life Whiskey Club in the UK.
So was this still done by Springbank in-house, or was it done by an independent bottler?
No, it was done by Springbank. They do
Oh
this.
wow,
Springbank
man, that's
does this. Yeah.
crazy.
So it's they bottle. You see, if you go on auction, you'll see a lot of single casks that were bottled. The Springbank did it for some. It's not through a independent bottler.
Is it kind of like an Impex type of delivery? Is that the kind of
Well,
similarity
not this
between
one.
it?
It wasn't. This
Okay.
was literally for a restaurant through a whiskey club.
Wow, man, that's
Yeah.
crazy. It must have been a friend of a friend from the distillery. It sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I need friends like that. That'd be awesome. Be able to have a bottle. Oh, by the way, I'll just make you a really nice 25-euro bottle. We'll
Well, they got
make 100 of them.
well, who knows who they did? Because I mean, Masters of Malt had another 100 bottles of the same cask.
Yeah.
So, and there's probably more than that if it's a sherry, but
Could you imagine having your
there's more
own?
than 200 bottles.
Could you imagine having your own
Hogshead? Well,
dibs?
hogshead, so not that many more.
Could you imagine having your own dibs on like a Springbank sherried cask,
I
just
know.
like where you could like go and
It would be so expensive.
Oh my god! I wonder how much money that would run.
It would be so expensive, but I can tell you that that's a fantastic Springbank. Let me see. I mean, there's a lot of things that I would rather have, honestly. But I mean, it's still great. I'm not. I mean, I'm just lucky to have very good bottles that I love. I mean, there's some Ben Nevises I'd rather have.
Oh yeah,
There is
that's
there's some
sadly a
Kalilas
really
I'd rather
tough.
have. I mean, I'd rather have that 35-year-old Kalila than OBA.
Wow, dude, that's saying a lot right there.
I
Wow,
mean, it's just a fantastic Kalila, and it's
for
like
it, for it to be distillery.
there's no
And
flaws with it.
wow,
There's no
man.
flaws, and if you love Kalila, then you're gonna love it. Because there's
Wow.
just no flaws, and the wood is integrated fantastically. At first, I thought it was maybe because I'm somewhat coming from bourbon. I'm like, I don't want the oak presence and the barrel, like just the oak itself, really, just wood influence. And sometimes with the older whiskeys, they can be over oaked. If you just, but that one was just right on the edge, perfect on the oak influence.
In that one, did you get the what I would consider the quintessential? And I like it. I don't think of it as a bad thing. But did you get that vegetal Kalila kind of still note in it, like that you get from a 12, or does that since it's so old, do you lose a lot of that earthiness from the dram? I'm just kind of curious of if you
Like
got
vegetable, I'm not a big vegetable fan, so
right.
so maybe I don't know, maybe not as much. I'm trying to think what how that
It's
was.
probably been like 40 years since you've had a 12, right?
A couple of years ago, I did. Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's got this kind of I don't want to say green beans, but it definitely does have like a more what I would consider a just a basic vegetal presence more so than like a Port Charlotte 10 or a Ardbeg 10 or another like
Yeah.
base core range
Okay.
deal. Not to say that it's bad. It's
Yeah.
just I definitely get that kind of like earthiness that you in maritime notes that you get from.
Well,
Khalil.
maritime, it definitely has the maritime notes. I mean,
Okay,
a lot of
you still get that on the 35 too, right?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Okay. Because I hate it when you lose certain like aspects of a dram that you like,
right.
as it progresses.
I mean, to me, maritime notes like oysters and kippers and
yeah.
sea salt and all that. That is my jam. Honestly, that is what I probably enjoy the most right now. When it comes, yeah.
And what brings me back is that I hate to bring this up, but it doesn't bother me, but it blows my mind. How, since you do like that profile, like I do like it too, how did you not like the Kelpie from Ardbeg, man?
Because it didn't fit the profile that as much. I like there was some notes that I didn't like as much in it.
Okay, all right. It just when you were
You're
describing it,
like sauerkraut, and I'm not a big sauerkraut fan. So
that's true. It did have like a German breakfast kind of a feel to it, mustardy and yeah.
Right. But that's why I've been really, I mean, look, I like it all, and even some of the Lagavulin, especially some of the ex-bourbon Lagavulins. I love the sherry Lagavulins. They're fantastic
Oh, me
whiskeys.
too.
but it just, they don't excite me as much as some of the others with the more maritime notes. I mean, because a lot of times Lagavulin doesn't
Yeah, they
have
don't really have
maritime.
any maritime stuff going
They
on there.
can, they can,
Oh,
they
can
can.
they?
The 2015 12 does, and I love that one. That's kind of my like. I'll just pull that out and drink it. That's a daily sipper. That's a really good one for me.
I think I
Um,
missed that. I had the 2016 12, and it was more of like a cotton candy kind of a, I mean, really good
mhm.
ex bourbon in your face cask, real sprightly, kind of Octomore reminiscent kind of thing. But
Right.
it definitely did not have any maritime notes that I can remember. But that was a
Yeah, I
2016
mean, like the
version.
Port Ellens, right? There's a lot of can have a lot of lemon type and maritime notes, and which I just
Yeah.
love. And I mean, the Port Ellen, like it was hands down. Like last night, I opened that up for Kenny, and he has, yeah, as I said, he has a new place, and some other reasons why I brought that over, and we just had a lot of great whiskey, and it was hands down the best last night, that Port Ellen, and we're talking about I tried, and this will be if Dustin if he's still on, he'll know about this bottling, but the 2007 21-year-old Lagavulin, I had a buddy that opened one of those, and I have a bottle of it. It's right here.
That brings me to another question when you're.
Yeah. So this is the 20. My buddy opened one of these last night,
Wow, man, that's my one of my dream bottles right there.
and it
What
is
is,
fantastic. It is one of the highly recognized Lagavulins out there you can buy.
and I'm afraid that you probably cannot find it underneath $500, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, you cannot.
1,000,
No, no, not even close. Yeah,
even more than that.
yeah, yeah. Don't worry,
Oh
not much, even
man.
more. About 20, probably around 24 to 2,500 nowadays.
Oh God, dude. No wonder
So
it's one of my dream bottles.
yeah, so I can tell you that that was fantastic, but it didn't beat that Port Ellen to me. It was that Port Ellen best.
Wow, man.
So
Port Ellen does have I mean, I've been lucky enough to have Rosebank, Brora, Port Ellen,
yeah,
Little
excuse me,
Mill.
Dustin. Yes, it was whatever 21. Yeah, so bring it back 21 years. So you're right. Yeah, that's 85 is still. So it's the highly rated one. It's the big brother to the 21 that you reviewed, which is good too. I like the 21 also that you reviewed, the 2012, I believe. Yeah, Dustin, I think you got said you had a review coming out on it, and that's good too, very good. And but this one is just probably the best Lagavulin I ever had.
Wow.
Yeah,
The 21.
this 21 2007, I'd say.
Wow,
Yeah,
man. I was gonna say like when you were talking about Port Ellen, it's like I have to agree with you because I've been lucky enough to have the Port Ellen, the Rosebank, the Broras, the Little Mills, lots of Dallas Stew, lots of dead distilleries that don't even exist anymore. And I cannot think of anything that beats a 30 to 40-year-old Port Ellen. I just can't. I just can't think of
yeah.
one.
Uh, when it's done right, yeah. I mean they're all different, right? I mean so they're all slightly different.
True.
All so there's no
Some of
there's
them
no
have like
there's
this
no
crazy
distillery. There's nothing
corn
you can
thing
go
going
by.
on.
They never really put much on the shelf until that you can go just buy a bunch. Like it was all very it was all used in back in the day. It was mostly used in blends, right? So
Yeah.
you're not going to find a just standard release Port Ellen anywhere that they had out. It's you've got to really search for it.
What's weird about that distillery is what I love about them is like even though the really old stuff, it has this fresh corn. I mean, I'm not even a big corn fan, which is really crazy, but it's got this fresh like corn sweetness, melted butter. I mean, it's got this like great profile that holds one even after 30, 35, 40 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how they do it, but man, they must have had some special crazy juice back in the 70s when they were doing it.
Yeah, it's just it just it's like to me it kind of reminds me of a in between like the high quality Port Ellen I've had. It's got some. It can have some Kalila notes. It has some Ardbeg notes. It doesn't really have Lagavulin. It doesn't really have Lafroig, but it can kind of interplay with that, but just takes it up a lot. I mean, it's definitely my favorite distillery. What I've had.
Oh yeah. I can't think of a better one. So when I had a brewer and I had a roast bank, I thought, well, this will be really interesting to see how I feel about it
Yeah.
up to a Port Ellen, and the Broras were good, as were the Rose Banks. I still remember the profiles of them being different. The Rose Bank was a little more floral, a little more Highland-esque, I'd say, feeling wise. The Broras were really closer to the Port Ellen, I think, in profile, but the Port Ellen still won, I think,
Yeah, Brora. A
overall.
lot of people love Brora even more. Brora is very like this is all very different. Like you can go early Brora, early '70s Brora is completely different than late '70s, early '80s Brora. It's just a completely different animal. It's much more can be much more farmy and peaty in the early '70s. Um, Later Brora is still good. It just maybe not and very complex, but not quite what I'm looking for. I mean, still good. I just wouldn't want to pay the exuberant prices,
Yeah.
exorbitant prices, excuse me, that they command. So, but the Port Ellens, man, I have another 10th release coming. I'll get this probably this week, early next week coming because I love it that much, and I'm trying to look for that what I can before they go just too high in price.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already really high. It's just ungodly amounts of money for them. But I'm trying to stock it for the rest of my life on them, so I can have at least something open, anytime from it.
I have heard that Port Ellen's already started back, like doing they're already like resurging and going forward. I
Yeah,
guess it's gonna take
Andrew,
10 years at least,
they
but
are. Andrew's asking if they. I am not sure if they. I think COVID has delayed it somewhat,
okay.
so I'm not sure if they're producing yet.
It's
But
gonna
it's
take
tentative.
minimum
Yeah,
10 years from them to
I
release
think it's
anything
going to be
anyway.
2022 if I'm not mistaken on it. So I think Brora, I think has started, but I don't think Port Ellen has. So don't quote me on that. You can probably look it up, but I think it's 2022 on it. So I will be going to Scotland in June of 2022, and I hope to
Nice.
be able to visit. So we'll see.
I had a question for you. Out of the ones that are restarting and going through it, do you think that they'll wait for at least 10 years before they release their inaugural, or do you think they'll do it like some of these other guys that have been doing, where they do like a 4 or 5, 7 year release? Kind of hoping that they wait till 10 at least, but I don't know. What do you think? It's really tough because I guess you have to get a return on what your investment is on one hand, but on the other
But
hand,
here's the
if
thing,
you're a
and this is
quality distillery, you're not gonna like want to just throw your shit out
yeah,
there either.
but here's the thing that it doesn't always, but and I've never had a young Port Ellen like a 10 year. I've never had one, but I've heard people that have is that it's not the greatest young whiskey. Even now, I'm talking about the older stuff. So maybe
Yeah, right.
they could be completely doing it different, right? And be different. But previously, it just aged so well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The distillate ages so well for some reason, and how they do it, they
I
do.
wonder, like at 7 or 10 years, if it would feel like a 15 year, if it's worthy of early release. It's gonna be
Well,
interesting to see how they
it's
do it.
Diageo, right? So they'll do
Right.
something.
That's true. I think that's what Dustin was saying. Oh yeah, they'll release some 6 year old stuff for sure.
Yeah. So okay, I didn't see that. Yeah, but yeah, it's Diageo. They're going to do something, and you know what? They still might. I'm curious. They probably don't have much stock left from the old ones. I think that they've been really cutting back, so there's probably not a ton to release. But they might have some
think
special
so.
things. You never know. They could be. I wouldn't hold it. You never know. There was a lot of stock, and they could be, putting some stainless steel containers and holding things.
Let's say they have a whole room full of shit we don't even know anything about
They
at
could,
this point.
they could. I don't know. I think people don't think they do, but they could, and it would make sense that they would release something to keep the brand, keep its exclusivity brand and all this, and try to still release that stuff as it, especially when it starts opening, maybe have something. I don't know, maybe not. I have a feeling they don't have much, but
Yeah.
I don't have anything going about with that. So
I'm gonna pour one for you, Dustin. This is the Taninic 17. I don't have a bone to pick with him or anything, but I must like, man, that you put this scathing review, and I was like, oh man,
yeah,
I don't know if it's worth the pull, but
yeah. Andrew is
I,
asking about the restarting because we just said they're going to restart, but they said it could be good or bad. I would probably say it's not going to be good. with Diageo, but I mean that's I don't think it'd be terrible, but it won't be to the quality of what it used to be. Put it that way. You're not going, and I'll be probably gone by the time they really come out with some really good stuff anyway, right?
No.
So I'm just that's why. And look, it's only gonna and they have exploded. They're only going to explode more, but the old stuff is just going to keep going up in price. Especially when it comes out and the new stuff is not as good as the old. So I mean that would
exactly
drive it up a bit more.
That's why I'm wondering if it's worth them doing an early release. I mean, I know they got to see some money on one hand. The other hand is you don't want to like get the word out that your product isn't as good as people were hoping it was going to be either.
Yeah,
so
I mean they may we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. They could. I have no idea. They know what they're doing, at least from a marketing standpoint. Really, usually, not always, but I just hope it would be sacrilegious to come out with something at 43% and colored. And I just would, but who knows? I mean, Diageo could. They'll definitely probably color it in some form or fashion. And but maybe they won't do 43. Maybe it'll be 46. Everything. So they are somewhat good with that usually, but not always. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for it, but yeah.
The Dustin, I was going to say on this 17, man, I'm not saying it's worth the money. That's for sure. It's definitely not worth the money, but man, it's a little bit better than a point. Like he gave it like a 0.75. I'm like, how do you give a review? I don't know if I've ever reviewed one. No, I take that back. I did review one that was like a 1 out of 5, and it was the Glen Ord because it was so extremely vegetal that I used to, when I was doing distiller reviews, I would pick a song that would remind me of the whiskey. And the thing I'll never forget is I looked it up and I heard this song called it had something about the vegetables, and it was by NXS of all bands. Like, NXS is a huge band from Australia.
Yeah,
They did a lot of good. They get a great, 80s pop kind of vibe. They were always kind of cool. Well, before they were that, they were a punk band back in like Australia, I think. And they were like more like edgy, and they had this song, I think it was called We Are the Vegetables. And that's the song that I picked for that dram because it was so I mean, it was like green beans and peas and colored greens and like It was.
I don't eat my veggies anyway. I don't usually as much, so I'm not.
Give me the meat, man.
Yeah. No, I look. There are some really bad whiskeys out there. What's the Great Glen Ord is probably the worst whiskey you've had?
Oh man,
the worst. Not the worst. Probably the worst you reviewed, right?
Yeah, the worst I've ever had. Like couldn't like go like anywhere with it was the Gravon, which is a grain.
Yeah.
Do not like Gravon, man. That was my least. I mean, I think it's subjective though when it comes to the grain whiskeys. I'll be honest, but as far as like I could not drink. I had to actually pour it because I could not stomach it. Yeah, it's the only one I would probably give like a 0.75. So when I saw his review, I was like, oh man. I mean, I know Dustin's pretty brutal when it comes to some of these guys, but I thought I'll give him a chance. But he's right. Like the price point is like way, way too high for what you're getting for a 17-year. But the ABV is nice. Right. I do like the fruit in the, and I like it's funny being the 17-year having such a youthful, witty profile to it. It's really strange to me, but I have to say, I don't hate it like he did, but I'm not going to give it 3.5, none of that kind of stuff either.
I'm trying to look. Oh, here it is. Mine.
It's like a 2.75.
I will say, I can tell you mine, probably the worst whiskey I've ever had. And it's from the Leatherwood Distillery. It's in Tennessee.
Uh-oh.
And I hate to say this because, I mean, I'm sure they're nice people, but
Leatherwood, you said it was called?
Leatherwood. And let me give you the name of the whiskey. And I don't know if they still make it. I hope not. Because if they do, I'm
scared.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me find it because I don't think they make it anymore. Thank God. but I want to find a bottle just to buy it because it was that bad. It's like a novelty almost. You want to buy it just because I want to let people try it because it's so bad.
Oh, that reminds me of a bottle I'll talk to you about. I might even have a little bit of that left. Hopefully, if I ever get to come see you, I'll have to bring it with me. It's that Glen Scotia bottle that Mount Muser had. That was
Oh
the
yeah, 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 yeah,
special. Like,
yeah.
I think they made a mistake, but we'll get to that later.
Let me see here. I gotta find this because it's really that bad.
That's
Um,
true. That's true.
oh
Dustin's
God.
right. 2.75 for me is about a one for Dustin. That's right.
Yeah, no. If I don't like a, what if it's a bad whiskey? I'm gonna, I don't hold back on it honestly because it's, um,
Oh! I take that back. The worst whiskey of all time, even to this day, is a
oh,
new
found
is a
it.
is
Okay.
a new distillery called Avondurk.
Yeah,
Abhainn space Dearg.
yeah.
It was their 3 year. They have a 10 year. I haven't tried yet, but they had their third year in inaugural release was the worst whiskey I think I've ever tasted. Sorry,
Oh,
man. Go ahead.
really?
Yes, definitely. It was like gym socks and freaking like sauerkraut and freaking just the nastiest vomit you've ever thought of. It was horrible, dude. It was horrible. That
So,
that was a 0.25 out of 5.
right. Oh, okay. Maybe this is why I didn't like it. I'm just looking it up because somebody else. It was called Leatherwood Sweet Feed whiskey. Feed,
Sweet feed,
feed.
as
F
in T.
E E D. F
Oh,
E E D.
feed,
Sweet
sweet
feed.
feed.
Could say feet. Sweet feet would probably be more like it, but so it was. So this is just. I'll give you some highlights of this because this is me. And look, I tried it. This is 2 years ago, but it stuck with me. And it's a mash bill of 51% corn, 40% wheat, 8% flaked oats of anything, whatever, and a 1% barley. You
He
aged in
said whatever.
used rye barrels. So this is not really a straight whiskey. It's just finished. Oh, definitely not because listen to this. Finished for 2 weeks in charred French oak. So it's
Charred French oak.
yeah,
Wow.
charred French oak. It's 40% ABV. It sounds like it was maybe only aged for 2 weeks.
If I gave you the Glenlivet 15 French oak and that one, would you rather drink the Glenlivet 15?
Oh yeah, Glenlivet. Oh, any day of the week, man. This is yeah. This was no. This was like unaged whiskey I'm drinking right here. This is. It
Ooh,
says
2 weeks. That's it.
yeah. I'm just thinking of this guy. What is something?
Do they have to call it a spirit like they do in Scotland if it's under 3 years of age? I can't remember how the rules are
Yeah.
here in America.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just see. It's what it says here. Um, if you like the vaguely moonshine, fresh out of the still boozy flavor, then you'll probably like this. Yeah, I don't like that.
Wow.
I don't really like that.
I think Chris has summed it up. Sweet
Yeah.
feed is what you give horses.
No, that's what they say. Yeah, it says sweet feed is typically something you buy in 50-pound bags to bring balanced nutrition to your horses, cows, and goats. Or if you're a Green Beret in the mountains of Afghanistan, your mules. But yeah, for some reason they wanted to put together something like that would be that bad then you would only want to give to your cows and horses, I guess. But what a terrible name too, right? Yeah, so there you go. That's the worst whiskey I've probably ever had that I can recall.
Oh wow, man, that's
Yeah.
something.
And that was a
Andrew's.
zero. That was a zero whiskey. Zero.
Ooh,
Zero. Negative.
wow.
Negative. Negative.
Negative points.
Yeah.
I remember the Scotch 4 dummies said that they got this thing called the Scotch Blue Special, which was from Korea, and they thought that was a 0.5 out of 5. So I never tried it, but I can imagine how bad that would probably be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew's saying that he got
the
a.
Scotch. I'm trying to think of the worst Scotch I've had.
It's a tough one because Scotch is usually, even the bad ones, have got some sort of redeeming quality, but it's
Yeah, not always.
yeah, not always.
I mean, I don't know. Luckily, nothing that I've had I've already poured it down the drain, so I can't really. I don't remember with Scotch, but I'm sure I've had some bad ones. You know.
Andrew is saying he got that same sample from, I think it might have been that same sample. He doesn't think they got anything wrong, but he thinks they got likely a quart tank containment. Yeah, because that does happen with the quart. Have you ever had? This is a good question for
Yeah.
Steven because I mean, you've probably. I hate to ask you probably how many bottles you've probably gone through in your lifetime, but I'm sure you've hit some cork taint here and there, right?
Um,
Or have you ever had a bottle where you were kind of like, this is supposed to be good, but this is not anything like I imagined it was going to be? It's happened to me only thankfully on a couple bottles, but it does
yeah, I mean,
happen.
nothing that just comes to my mind off the top of my head, but
I have a funny story for you. When I was with the Scotch for Dummies, when we were talking to John Glazier, we had
mhm.
a Story of the Spaniard bottle, which was the that nightclub. We actually went to the nightclub in New York, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And he was there, and we were talking about the release. The first release was just 300 bottles before the regular Story of the Spaniard was released, and the first one he brought out, it had this really funky, almost I mean, I didn't like hate it because I don't mind like a truffle, like a black
Yeah.
truffle note, but it had that real strong truffly note to it. And he's like, "No, this is wrong." And he got him to take it away, got another bottle, and sure enough, he was right. The first one was cork taint. It's
Oh
weird.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
they're real
maybe
particular on the
probably. You
corks
know
that they
what?
use
I
too.
probably have and didn't even know it. Right. So, and then you get turned off on that bottle or something, and you don't want to, So it's very possible that I have that I just don't recall.
I mean, hopefully, if you ever had it, it was with more of the more mass-produced bottles rather than
Yeah.
something like a
Oh, I know.
private.
I hope so. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be. I'll tell you. I mean, a bottle that comes to mind from last year that I just hated and that I just despise now, and I was like, and I would pour it down the drain, and I was just pissed off about it, and that was the Bowmore 25.
Oh man, I'm glad you said that because I had my eye on Bowmore, and I've the best bottle I ever had was like an 18 from the distillery, and I thought, you know what, I've heard really bad stories about their 25s and
Yeah, do not.
21s, and
No, this one, maybe the latest version, probably, but it was terrible, terrible.
ooh,
And
for
I'm
you to
not a
say
big,
terrible,
I'm
it's
not
got
a
to be
big
pretty bad
Bowmore
too.
hater. I'm not a Bowmore hater. I got this one here that I found locally. Was it Rattray or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, the 80 Rat Tray, I know those
Yeah,
guys.
that's right.
Yeah,
So it's an 18-year-old and 375 bottling.
that
Um,
looks pretty good. What did you
yeah,
think
it
about
was
that one?
59.1%. All natural and very good. I really like this one.
Wow. Okay.
Bottled in 2014. It was just sitting on the shelf last year, and I was like, okay, I'll take the rest you have, or all you have. And it was really good. And I've got some other good ones. I've heard really good things on this North Star 18 Bowmore. I think if you a lot of the people already listen to Aquavitae. Every once in a while I listen to them. I don't listen to them a ton, but
I
or
do
watch
too
them
on the
too.
side. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be a very good one. I know he loves it, and but a lot of people like it. It went really quickly back last year.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by that. I've heard that that bottle is actually the North Star does it pretty well from what I've heard.
No,
But
they
we'll
do. They
see.
do. I've
Yeah.
had some other ones. They do a
Okay.
fantastic job. And this is more, I think, more like the tropical fruit, papaya and such that they, kind of, what they have. So I'm hoping that's the case because that's, old Bullmore. Like, that's just, it's like when I say old 70s, 60s, early 70s, 60s, Bowmore is, some of the best whiskey that's ever been produced. So, yeah.
It's sad. I've had my eye. Have you ever heard of the 27-year Vintner trilogy? I think it was like a
Yeah.
27 Vintner French something or other.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'm
I've heard of it.
thinking
I've
of
seen it.
I was thinking of taking a stab at that because I did find a good deal that was on a 27-year bottle of that, but oh man, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I don't. It's not. I mean, maybe it's fine. I don't know. Honestly, I would look at reviews and see if it's look at whiskey base, whiskey fun, just some other sites. You like distiller.com.
I'd try them all. This whiskey
Yeah,
base, like you said, is a really good one too.
yeah.
For
I
more
would
of the
I would take
for
that.
what you like now, like I think I've progressed from distiller to using whiskey base for a lot of my stuff now because
Yeah,
they do a lot of independent bottlings and more specific batches and stuff like that. So
right. Yeah, yeah. That I use that a lot. But it just I just I just I don't know. I just kind of Bowmore is kind of a very try before you buy type of thing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's funny. I started off with their 15 darkest, and the profile didn't really throw me at first, but then I started realizing how much sulfur and how much like just thinness was there with the whiskey after I,
right,
tried like some more Klein leashes and things that had more substance to it. And then
right.
going back like 4 or 5 years later to the Bowmore 15, I was like, I cannot believe I really liked this that much. It's kind of weird. Does that
Yeah,
happen to you with
Bowmore is
whiskey
just
too?
their core lineup. I just it just pisses me off because I think they could do good things if they I just I would love for that distillery to get back to kind of at least trying to produce what they could.
Did that happen to you though, where you were trying a distillery and you at first you liked it or you thought you liked it a lot, and then you came back 3 or 4 years later and you're like, "Huh, this is not as good as I remembered it being." Does that happen to you at
Um,
all? 'Cause this
well,
happened to me definitely with that
yeah,
distillery.
yeah, no, it has.
Can you remember anything that
Well, I mean,
stands
not
out?
just, and this is, I'm not going to say this in a bad way because I still love the distillery, but I started really hard. I had a really love with Bunnahabhain,
Oh,
and
okay, yeah.
I've kind of, yeah, their prices have gone up a lot. The quality, they're very experimental, which I appreciate. They're good. I'm not saying I buy them still, right?
Right.
But it's just not.
They're missing rather than hitting more often now with the Moine series, I
They're
think,
a little more
right?
hit and miss they used to be, at least to me.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm talking about the special bottlings. I mean, I'm not talking about everyday bottlings.
The Moine like the Moine releases, like the Moine Oloroso releases,
You know,
things like that
people
you're
love
talking
that Moine. I have the Moine Oloroso, like one of the really highly regarded ones.
I don't
And
have one myself, but I've always wanted a Moine release bottle. Ooh, dude, Moine Oloroso cast strength,
yeah,
60.1%. Holy wow, dude.
and this
Oh, gimme.
no, it's good. And I have just I need to put some in a sample. I always try to keep 2 ounces of us on each of my bottles that I have. I keep 2 ounces back, and so I can try it, years from now if I want to.
I don't blame you. That's
Yeah,
fine
I
to
can
do it.
compare it to other things or whatever I want to do with it. So I usually keep 2 ounces of everything. And
I gotta start doing that. That's a really good idea. I think
yeah,
overall, guys, if you're whiskey, if you're into trying as much stuff as we do, that's a really good idea. I need to do that myself.
yeah, no, and I've done a lot of it, and I've got a lot of sample bottles now. But this one is in your face. If you want young, heavily sherry, super sherry, big, bold, punchy, you know,
No sulfur though.
I don't recall, but it's been a while since I've had it. But
Okay,
but
that's
you
the only
know what?
thing that
I
I'm
just
kind of
was
hesitant
like,
on the sulfur thing. I'm
I'm
kind of like,
still like, I'm just like, okay, it's good, but it's
didn't blow
not
your
worth
socks
the
off.
price
Yeah,
to me. I mean, it's just too aggressive. Too
it's
people love it.
unrefined
People love it,
basically,
and I understand why.
but it is unrefined. It doesn't have it does have
It's
an
definitely
age.
it's yeah, it's not super aged, but it's not bad. There's no all thing.
Do you think
In
it's like
fact, I'm
seven
going to pour a
years,
little
or
bit right now.
if you had to take a guess at the age, would you guess it's like 7 years or 12, or what do you think the age on it would
I
be?
don't
If
know.
you
Let
had
me
to,
try a little bit. And I'll tell you.
that's cool, man. Sorry, I don't mean to make you to drink it, but it is interesting to see what you think of
I always think
the
it's like
profile.
it's viscous. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. It's just I don't think it's to the level what people are kind of want to say about it. So this is the one that a lot of the whiskey tubers have just gone gaga over.
Last year they had a 29-year-old deal. Is it like an
And it's
official
look,
release
it is
or?
good. It is good. It's a huge sherry note. And I don't really smell a lot of sulfur on it, so that's good because I'm pretty sensitive to sulfur too.
Thank goodness, because I was curious about if there was any in that one. Because that's one thing that at first I thought I liked it, and the more I have it, the more I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if I really enjoy it per se. I mean, it's not a complete turn off, but it's not something I seek in whiskey anymore. It's more of like I want a true fruity sherry profile, not as much funk unless it's like the dunnage funk from like the warehouse. Then I like that. But
Yeah, it's good. It is maybe 8 to 9 years old,
okay, the
seven,
price
eight,
point
seven,
on that
eight, nine,
bottle.
wherever.
What are they
Maybe,
charging you for that bottle?
and
If you don't mind me
it could
asking.
be mixed in with a little bit. This is not a single cask, I don't believe, so it could be mixed in with something else, a little older whiskey. But it's not. Look, it is good. You know what? It's good. It's just it's very aggressive, but it's if you like that style, and I do like it too sometimes. It
What's
is good. It's just not the world beater like people have kind of talked about it being.
what's the price point on that particular bottle? If you don't mind me
You know,
asking.
I think that's going when I bought them, and I bought that two years ago, so it's probably $300. So
Okay,
it's probably I'd say in the high threes right
five.
now. Yeah.
Fives. You say it's fives right now?
Oh, I don't think it's five. I don't think it
Oh,
was ever get. It's
fours.
just two. It's two. Not. It's not that old. Right? It's
I'm
an
surprised they can
NAS.
justify spending. I mean, I can understand like for a rarity going 200 on a 8 year, but once you go
Yeah.
to 300 or 400 on an 8 year whiskey, it's like,
Yeah, it's good. This is
really?
good. I mean, I don't want. I think I don't want to say it's. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I wouldn't. I mean, I've been drinking it, so it is good. It's just probably. I mean, Budahaven. I do have one that's pretty sulfured that I have here. That's Buna, and but they have, as Dustin stated, they have kind of gone down in quality. I feel like.
That's sad, man.
But not. I mean, it's still quality. I mean, they still put out some good things. You just got to be a little more picky. What you're looking for and trying to find. It's just not.
Do you know
Just
what he
because
means by
it's an
this one?
older Bunahaven, you don't go out and run and buy it. So
Do you know which bottle he's talking about with this 29-year-old deal? I'm not sure which one he's referring to with that.
no, unless it's maybe one of the Fischel releases. I don't know what the 29 is.
Andrew was saying that it's pity because Bowmore is a great distillery to visit. It
Yeah,
was his
it
first one to
is.
visit and
Beautiful
in the
location.
former workman cottages on
Uh-huh.
site. It sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be visiting again. Like I said, I'm going to. That's a distillery I did not get to tour last time, and I want to do kind of the old vaults. Vault number one or whatever it is. The old where they still have some very very good whiskey there, and I want to go down and check that out. That's a very famous place. So yeah, for
It
sure.
was official, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But yeah, the Fischel I've just been kind of not buying theirs lately for a while.
Do you think it's I mean, I know I probably sound harsh when I talk about her. I don't mean to, because I'm sure she does a great job for what, I mean, if she didn't do a great job, she wouldn't be hired, I'm sure. But do you think it has a lot to do with Rachel Berry, or do you think it's like completely out of her realm
Yeah, I
as
don't think
far
it has
as the
anything to do
reason
with her.
why it's
She's just a
coming?
cog in the machine. This has nothing to do with her.
Okay.
I really don't feel like it is. So this is a direction that the company that I mean, I think honestly with Bowmore, and maybe I don't know the timing. I got to figure out when she got there, but she probably helped Bowmore.
Okay.
Bowmore in the 90s was late 80s, early 90s. I mean, it was not very good. I mean, so I don't know. I think she was in the 2000s, right, when she was at Bowmore, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe was it like 10 years ago or
Yeah.
so? I mean, maybe right before her, it started making a difference. And I'm talking about some quality of just the distillate. I think that some of it still is not can be kind of rough. But you look at the 25. That 25 was made. Right now that was what is in the 90s, right? So.
Right. Yeah.
So there's some of the younger Bowmore that I think is pretty good from the early 2000s. That I think they've done a better job with it. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's a world beater, but it's a lot. It's
Right.
better than that lavender from the 80s or the kind of whatever was in the 90s and stuff. So that's I'm not a Bowmore expert, but that's just kind of what I've tasted, from my experience.
When it comes to the Glendronach decisions that have been made lately,
Yeah, no, I know that a little bit more about that. Yeah.
do you think that is all Brown Foreman? Is it anything to do with Rachel Berry, or does she have any say in that kind of like?
No, I think she's directed. I think she has direction and what they're wanting to do in a business plan. And I don't think it has a lot to do with her. I really don't.
Okay, I'm hoping not, because it's just a shame, because I don't want to connect the dots, but it's really hard when you see someone go from distillery to distillery and you
Well, she's a
see.
company person. She's just doing what the large Brown foreman is wanting to do, right?
I'm hoping that's the case rather than the opposite.
Well, it's
of
not
that,
good either
and
way. So,
she's driving the direction of where Brown Foreman is going. That's where I'm kind of
yeah.
like I'm wondering where who's leading the reins, if you know what I mean.
Well, look, you can't blame them for trying to. I mean, I don't like it or I hate it,
Well, I mean,
but
you had to say you had to kind of blame them because they're suffering. They're shelling out the quality for quantity. It's really what it's all
well,
about,
they're pushing. You know, they're pushing to new markets. They got some brand recognition now.
right?
They are. They
It's the
see what
Asian
my.
market. I know it's the Asian market. I just
Well,
don't see why
it's not just the
sacrificer.
Asian. It's not just the Asian. I mean, look, is it part of it? Yes, but it's not just the Asian market. It's the U.S. too, and it's everything. It's just in general. It's not the enthusiasts they're trying to go to. Or they're trying to. They look at Macallan. Look at what Macallan's done. Right? They've built that name brand up, and they put out shite a lot. You know, they a lot of it is now. It's not the quality that it used to be, and
Right.
it's way overpriced. But they've got the name recognition, and it's kind of a and they're seeing that as as they're not there yet at all, but the name recognition is getting bigger. It's they're trying to kind of move in certain directions, and that's all part of this natural colored or chill filter thing they're doing, which just pisses me off. But it is what it is. They want to. They do want to apply to the more premium market, but it's the premium market that's not us, right?
I'll agree with Andrew too. I recently I do have, matter of fact, right here, if I can reach it. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe not. Oh, I'm trying. Oh, I didn't fall. Thank goodness. All right. The Ben Reich. I don't have the 12. I do have the Smoky 10, and I was surprised that the new Smoky 10 is actually pretty well done. It's a 3 cask maturation with bourbon rum and virgin oak. It's different and
Dustin's saying Macallan's not very popular in the U.S. I am not looking. I'm looking at from the ultra. What I'm looking at it is they're not their 12 or their 18. I'm looking. I'm kind of looking at Macallan from a standpoint of the position they put themselves in as the luxury brand, right?
true. Yeah,
And
that's
and
reaching for it.
also, honestly, Macallan's even more of just an investment brand nowadays, right? Um,
Yeah, auction brand is what I would consider
yeah,
them.
it's an investment brand. And so I know a lot of people, especially on the West Coast, that really love Macallan, and they will look for they love Macallan, whether it's the old stuff that's really good, from the 80s, from the 70s, 80s, or if it's just the newer stuff from an investment standpoint. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's because it's so expensive, right? I mean, it cannot be so popular because you're looking at, in my neck of the woods, I was looking at a Macallan 18 the other day because I was looking for a gift for someone, and the only
Oh
reason I was looking
Lord.
at Macallan because of the brand recognition, right? That people think of Macallan, and they think of, and that's the only reason. And but it
Let
was
me guess.
300 something dollars.
Let me guess. 340.
Yeah, it was around there. Yeah, and I'm
That's
like,
what I
this
had to
this
pay
is
here in Maryland for it, and I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
and I because I wanted a really classic older Macallan for the collection, and I've had the rare cask, and it didn't really do much for me. I had a lot of the classic cuts and some of
Hmm.
the edition twos and all that, and they're good. It just never nothing really like blew my socks off. The rare cast black, now that travel retail exclusive is really damn good, but it's
Right.
so hard to fucking find,
Yeah,
and it's at least $400 or $500
I've
at
had
this
I've had
point.
great Macallans, but they were,
Yeah.
it's been a while. I mean,
Yeah, long, like
yeah.
yeah, 5, 6, 7 years ago, definitely.
No, no. I mean, I'm talking from the 80s.
Oh, from the '80s. Sorry.
I
Okay, even worse.
mean,
Okay.
maybe early 90s, but it still wasn't that worth the price that they're going for. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just more of an investment. I've bought in my lifetime. I've only bought. I'll make sure I say this right. All I can think about, maybe yeah, two Macallans. I bought two bottles.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was hard to spend I think I got mine for 320. I felt kind of
yeah.
better because I saved like $20, but it wasn't by much. I mean, and for 18 year, I mean, same thing with the Dalmore shit. The Dalmore was even worse because the craft is down. They
Yeah,
still want to charge you 220, 240 for that bottle. I'm like, it's barely worth 150, 160
right.
max. I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully I got mine for that price. That's why I have a Dalmore 18 up there, but. It's
But
it is
see,
painful
I'm
to
gonna have to
see.
disagree, but because I mean, I know a lot of attorneys, because I'm an attorney, so I know a lot of attorneys in New York and Chicago that swear by they all they know is Macallan, right? Because
Right.
it's the perception of it being the luxury brand. So that's what they've really done. So yeah, Nashville or Ohio, they're maybe not as popular,
Dude,
right? But
dude,
New
Neil
York,
Peart from
Chicago,
Rush.
LA,
Neil,
it's people that are looking for luxury, not maybe because they don't know any better, right? But
yeah, Neil,
they might they're pointed to the Macallan brand too. Well, because they go in a store and they're going to say, I want the 18 luxury. They're going guys. The store clerks don't know any better. They're going to point to Macallan probably.
right. Like Neil Peart from Rush, one of my favorite drummers and artists of all time.
Yeah,
He was, of all brands, he was a McKellen guy. It's
yeah,
crazy to think of that because, I mean, he was brilliant. He could write
yeah,
like lyrics, poetry, drums, music. I mean, he was a brilliant guy. Even if you don't even think of the music piece of it, you think literature. I mean, he was brilliant, and he even gravitated towards McKellen, and that tells you something. It's kind
yeah.
of weird, you know.
Right,
The
right.
name definitely has a
But
huge
yeah,
factor.
Glenlivet and what's Glenfiddich, things like that are definitely more popular because that's a it's been around and it's a every man's kind of you know you can something you can afford like a Glenlivet 18. It's not that's something that if you want an 18-year-old bottling, it's much easier to afford too. So
No, I agree with you, Andrew. On the Smoky Good is 10 is good. The 10 Curiositas was better. I did like that one a bit. The new 12 is a must buy if you like Pete. I'll have to uh I'll have to see. I do like that 10 where'd I put it? The
you
Smoky
know
10 is actually good, but I'd rather
yeah
have a 12 if I can get it.
you know
Yeah.
I can tell you one the old Macallan cast strengths were very good too, especially when they have the age state, the 10-year age stated ones. Those are very good. And even the non-age stated ones were very good until they went to the rare cask, right? So, and they no longer were the cast strength ones. Or they
That's
went to the
sad.
not the rare cask. What's the other one? The rare cask, and then they did the. I guess it was the rare cask. Yeah, I don't know. There's another one that they did. That's a classic cut.
Yeah, that's the one I always
That's the
see.
one they
It's a
just
little
went off the
cheaper, but
rails. I
yeah.
mean, the first year might have been fine. I think. I mean, it was fine, but not. It wasn't nearly like a cast strength. And then it
No.
went off the rails because they just went downhill from there. But
They never really charged more than 100 and 110 for the
well,
classic and the
McAllen is one that needs to be sherry, right? I mean, it
yeah,
does. It really
it
does. To me,
does.
I feel like it does. It's just a
Oh
lighter
yeah.
spirit. It needs to be sherry.
I wish they would try the peated stuff more often because that rare cast black was a peated version of the rare, and that's why I loved it so much. I was like, "Wow, guys, you guys nailed the peat with the smoky rare cask." I thought it was spot
That
on.
sounds so weird. I peated McAllen. That sounds so weird.
I know it sounds weird, but it was not heavily peated by any means, but it had
Okay.
a really nice smokiness to that. Have you heard of the red cast before?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't. Maybe I've had it. I don't recall, but
Yeah,
nothing that I remember. Put it that way.
it's not crazy. It
Yeah.
usually runs around 300. It's like and most people probably wouldn't even go that way because it's an NAS, I think. Because it's not an age stated thing. But it is a good dram. It's not worth the $300 for the basic one,
Right.
but if you can get for the black for 300 at the
Hmm.
time, it was glorious. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't find it for that anymore. It's probably $500-$600 now, of course. But for what it was at the time, man, it was a little smoke, a little peat
Right.
with that rare cask. It was actually pretty good, I have to say.
Yeah. McAllen was the most expensive. Well, at the time, because that's changed. But the most expensive bottle I've ever spent
He
money
didn't
on.
like it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. The Macallan. I bought a Macallan 30 retail
Oh
here probably
man.
three years ago, maybe. Maybe less. I don't know. Probably around 3 years ago, in a store in uh, outside of Evansville, Indiana,
Okay, yeah.
and bought a 30-year-old there and paid. It was over 2 grand or something. It was 2 grand or two
Woo.
thousand. But that was
Not
Macallan 30.
surprised though.
But no, and I only bought it, and this is I never do this, but I bought it purely for investment purposes to flip it
Oh wow, okay.
because I knew I could easily, and
Yeah.
and I held on to it for maybe 6 to 8 months, and then I sold it to someone from Taiwan that I got over $4,000 for it.
Wow, man.
And now it goes for a lot more than that. I wish I had held on
Yeah.
to it, but
Yeah, for you to sell it after just like less than a year, I was surprised because I mean, if you invest that much in like a Macallan, I would think you'd hold on to it for like 10, 20 years and then sell it
yeah,
for like
no, I mean,
crazy
look,
money.
yeah, I wasn't look. Let me tell you, I mean,
It wasn't a
bourbon.
long-term investment, that's
Let
for
me tell you,
sure.
the bourbon bottles I had. Well, let's see what I did. I flipped it to buy something else, right?
Yeah,
So,
that
I
happens a
mean,
lot
I can
too.
tell you how
Yeah.
many bourbon bottles I've sold that I could have made a lot more money if I just held on to them. But I did it to flip it to buy Scotch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, so
That
it's
happens a lot. You get
yeah. I
desperate
wish
to
I had
get the
held on to it
bottle, and
longer.
that's what
And if I could
happens.
find more, but they're even the 25 is so much now. It's just gone up in crazy in value. So I'm not really
I'm
looking to buy.
surprised that they can justify the
You
price
can.
point for the 25. It's insane.
It's 25s are $2,000 something now. So
I
it's
mean,
kind of
when you
crazy.
compare that to every other distiller, I mean, think of every other. I
Right.
mean, even the best. I mean, Glendronach. There's no way they would try to charge more than $500-600 for their 25 year. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
they're a
it.
well-known
2K. It was a
distillery
little
too.
over 2K. It was probably 2,400. I can't really remember, but it was it'd been sitting on the shelf for a little bit, and it was more of the previous price for that version. It was at what year it came out, but the 30 I had.
When you think like bottom line sherried Scotch, Macallan, maybe Dalmore because they're just well known. What's the top like three well known? Not quality, but who do you think is the most well known sherried Scotches out there besides Macallan and Dalmore, if any? As far as like just notoriety, no, being known to most people. I'm kind of curious what you think.
I mean,
It's a tough one,
McAllen is definitely number one. Is being just
right?
people that that would know about it probably from a sherry to Speyside, or considered Highland, but really, or it could be either one. But
Just
McAllen,
notoriety. Would you think Dalmore would be kind of two because just of the
Dalmore, I don't even know what you're talking. I never. That's a whiskey that I don't even know. I mean, I don't even. That doesn't
I'm just
exist.
talking about like the
It
notor
doesn't
like
exist.
no, I mean I understand and I agree with you. Like I would never go that way,
Yeah,
but
maybe
as
you
far as
talk
like
about
just
E150 whiskey. Yeah, Dalmore's there. Yeah,
which one?
E150.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that, as far as
It's
being the most well known, like if I go to anybody on the street and like, give me a sherry Scotch, what are you gonna go for besides Macallan? I'm just trying to
I,
think of who would they would tell me about.
good question. I really don't know. I mean, maybe.
Cohen's saying that Holland Park would be one. I guess that's true. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
they're
was thinking
heathery.
that maybe. I mean, that's one. I mean,
Maybe I guess that's the reason why they charge so much for the 25 year. I'm trying to figure out why some of these guys charge so much for their brand, and it's got to be just the notability. Because
yeah. I
between
mean,
Belmore and Holland Park, those are the most expensive
I
18 and
think
25s you can think of.
maybe Balvenie too. I mean, that's
Balvenie,
another
yes,
one.
that's true. Balvenie,
Um,
definitely.
I think that's to me. I mean, to me, I would put in. I mean, Glendronach, but that's more
True.
of a that's more of an enthusiast maybe would say that, right? An enthusiast would say that, but
Do you not collect Balvenie as much because of the price point across the board,
I
or is it
have
the
I have
quality?
about 14 different ones over here. So
Oh, you do have Balvenie. Okay.
I
Damn,
mean, I
they
don't have
run.
as many. I mean, I have some of the ton 1401s. I have
Those are awesome,
yeah,
man.
I have some
Jeez.
30-year-olds, the 25s. I
You still
have
have the Tune 1401? Seriously? Oh
yeah,
my god, man, that's
they're
crazy.
very very good.
Yes, they are. I was lucky enough to have a sip of one.
I've got some old sherry 15, the really first fill dark ones. I even have a single barrel 12 back there. Pete Wheat 14 and old single barrel 15 ex bourbon. A couple of those. I used to have like
Really
8
dark
of
one, I'm
those.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's great. Just from a space side standpoint, it's one that I collect the most of.
Belvany's one I should get more involved with. That's one that I haven't really. I mean, I've had a lot of different
The
bottles,
nice
but
thing about Balvenie, they do well with lower proof, like, or lower BV.
yeah,
The
and that
40,
helps some
if they're in the
price too.
47 range, 46, they have a good peppery note on a lot of them that you can really, they handle it well. Sometimes you feel like you're drinking a little higher. I don't get too much in their 43 percenters, honestly. I mean, I've had some decent ones, but I don't really remember them. I think the Portwood,
Yeah,
21. I don't 43%. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend
yeah.
money on that. But I mean, they did have the travel retail. I think Portwood.
That one was the kick-ass version. Yeah,
Yeah,
the higher
I would.
ABV one.
Right. And then, but I do like
I would kill to try that one. I've only had the
they're 46 to
43%.
47, around there, 47.8. I mean, that's a good ABV on them, and I do like them. And the tons for the 1401s, they're fantastic. Um, yeah, I love them all. I finished off with batch 3, which is
Ooh,
one of the more sophisticated whiskeys I've had. Like, it's just a complex, old, just super old tasting whiskey. Dusty, but yet it's just so complex and so easy to drink. It's just so good. That batch 3 is the best I've had from that distillery.
Dustin had a question for you.
Yeah, I haven't had the single barrel yet, the new one. I haven't. I've got so many of the 25s. I'm trying to drink those. I haven't had the 21.
Dustin, how much does the 21 single barrel run right now? I'm curious because I've got the 21 port, but it's not the greatest because I didn't have the higher ABV version, which I'd rather have. Um, but price does, is kind of tough. But with Belvany, you're right. It's like they do have a lower ABV, but it helps the price to keep it down a little bit because of that reason. But I'm kind of curious of what that runs right now. Do you know what the price point on that is?
Cohen is saying the Glenfiddich is still the biggest brand globally. I can see that.
Yeah.
I agree with
Isn't
that.
that
Yeah.
weird though? It's like of all
No, it's just mass
whiskeys,
produced and easy. It's not true. It's
isn't it weird that you never hear people like clamoring over the Grand Cru or the 25 year or anything like that? It's like
yeah,
it's
no,
always the 12, the
yeah, it's
15
just
Solera and the
it's like anything else. You look at bourbon and what's the most, Jack Daniels is the most, number 7 or something, the most popular, whiskey in the world probably. And it's, not the best whiskey, not the best Tennessee
no
whiskey or bourbon, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
252 from World. Oh wow, that's crazy. That's it? That's crazy. No way, man. That is insane. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
So what's
47.8% too.
Dustin? I think I saw his review. I think they liked it. I can't remember though. I know I saw the review, but what's the Dustin? So that's definitely worth the price, right?
21 single barrel at that price. I don't see how if he liked it, especially. I don't see how he
Well,
could
it's
say
single
it's not
barrel,
worth
right?
it.
Single barrel, so you don't know what you gotta get the same barrel, right? I mean, that's if he really loves it. It's because I ran into the issue with the 25s. They're all single barrel, so some of them I love. I mean, I have a couple that the ones I have I love, and then there's like some that haven't been as good. So
Yeah, he says he loved it, the nose on it at least. Very good whiskey. For him to say he loved it with capital loved and very, very good whiskey, it's got to be a
good.
5-star whiskey, you would think at this point.
No, that's good. Yeah.
I'll have to definitely take him up on that, man.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I do have to work tomorrow, man. I hate to
Yeah,
cut
no
it
problem, man.
short, but I do have to get up and do a whole
Yeah, it's been a
shebang
long day for me,
tomorrow.
so I'm kind of under the weather a little bit too. So yeah.
Oh man, I hope you're not getting anything crazy or
No,
anything,
no, no,
right?
fine. I tested. I got a little cough, a little cold for my son. He's a 4-year-old man, so he gets
Yeah.
get every little bug from
I
him.
can't believe you, man. You're lucky you have a 4. I have a 12-year-old, and I wish I had a 4 too.
Yeah, no, 12 means he's closer to getting out of the house. So
It's a she, though. It's a she, dude.
Oh,
Come on
gee,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. She's 12 and
I
turning
would,
13
yeah,
in
I would
February.
be really worried. I would be.
No, I really, really appreciate you coming by and
Yeah,
everything.
man. No, I had
And
fun. Good talking whiskey, and I had a good few pours here, and yeah. So what are you going to do like going forward? What do you think? Letting everybody know kind of
I
what.
think you had a great idea with the comparison, so I'm eager to see what people think.
Yeah.
Comment on this show if you. I know we didn't have a lot of time to look at the comments tonight, but if you can comment after the fact and let me know what you'd like to see as far as comparison on maybe top two sherry monsters or two Isla 12-year-olds, or think of a theme, and I'll try to find two bottles that meet the criteria that are
Hmm.
very popular, and we'll go head to head. And I might do two different versions. Might do like a 12-year version and maybe a 21-year version or something like that. We'll see how it goes. Or
Yeah.
an independent. I'm doing independent bottlings now, so I might do like an Adelphi Sherry Bomb Deanston 21-year-old versus a something completely different that's also sherried. We can definitely figure it out.
Yeah. Good. That sounds fun.
No, it's all good. And yeah, I don't know. Do you have any of this left, Dustin? I think you should like pour yourself a little dram and just have a little sip and just let me know what you think. If it's any different, any better. Oxygen does help some drams. Do a sheets with your whiskey bottles and maybe your interest, and we can help. I'm not sure what he means by that. Do a sheets with.
I think this is probably what you have already, kind of an inventory, right? I would think maybe he's talking about that.
Oh yeah, I've got a well, this is the thing. I'm willing to get whatever you guys want to do. So if you say, "Hey, let's, Telex, let's do 12-year-old sherry drams," I'll go get it. If you're like, "Hey, let's do, 21-year ex bourbon only bottles independent," we'll do that. I'm willing to do whatever you guys want to do really at this
Yeah.
point. So
Okay.
I'm,
No
I'm
Jura. No Jura though.
No Jura, no more Jura, man. Thankfully, it's part of the.
I'm joking. I'm
I'm
joking.
almost want
There's
to
probably
call
some
this
good
the wall
independent
of
ones.
shame. It's not the wall of shame. It's the wall of experience. And
Have you done your review on the new Karches?
I have not. That's one bottle that's on my radar to get is the new Carriages
You
PX
haven't gotten it
version.
yet?
I have not tried. I should go ahead and get it though.
It's
It
you know
sounds
what?
like.
It's worth it. I will say, and I'm happy to say that for that is
Thank
worth it.
God. I was nervous because that last port wine cask matured, man. I was not a
It's much
fan.
better than that, and I
Thank
yeah,
the maker.
yeah, I would definitely say it's worth it.
Thank the maker, man, because that was depressing. That
So
last
now
couple of
Dustin's
carriages
pouring that
was.
nasty stuff. So you almost have to stay on to hear his reaction.
Let's
So
pour one for Dustin. What the hell, man?
let's pour one more. You pouring that, right?
Let's pour one for
That's all right.
Dustin.
Who needs sleep? Come on.
Homies, I'm pouring for you out there. Oh man, this is crazy. But he's the one that got me intrigued. He gave it a point like something review, and I was like,
So it takes
wow,
a
man.
shitty review from Dustin to get you intrigued on whiskey.
Well, no, but I like these off the wall distilleries that
No,
nobody
I know you
has any
do.
love
You
of.
do. You do, which is good. I would like to hear you talking because I mean that means I don't have to drink them when I hear you talk about it.
Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of these are
I'm
used for
joking.
blends. I will agree. I
Yeah.
mean, it
No,
is
there's some good ones.
the
There's a
Macklemore.
lot of
Macklemore is
I'm
there's a
looking for
reason why.
more. Yeah, I'm looking for more. That's I'm looking for more distilleries and getting to more because I have such a concentration probably in islas and islands and highlands. Certain highlands. So I have a big concentration. I need to kind of branch out, but I kind of know what I like though. I need to find something else that really catches on and really gets to me. So
I think the once the Ardnamurchan has age, I
yeah.
think this one's going to be really damn good. Adelphi has great independent bottlings. I think out of all the independent bottlings of is it Adelphi? Am I saying that right? Adelphi.
Yes, Adelphi. Mhm.
Okay. Have you? Are all your favorites always sherried, or have you ever had a non-sherried Adelphi that you remember at all? I'm just
Um,
curious.
nothing that just comes to mind, but I have some. I think non-sherry. No, they just do good stuff in general. They're a great independent distiller. So cardboard, oak, and flat barrel.
No, dude, cardboard. Come on, man.
All right, so I'm gonna pour.
That's the age. There's the dankness you're getting in there. It's
I'm
not
gonna pour a distillery
cardboard.
that I have been enjoying, the underrated distillery, and it's not, it's not to the, it's not like a Port Ellen. It's not the crazy expensive thing, but it's Lecheg.
There you go. Ooh, 21, man. I didn't know
Yeah.
they had a 21 offering.
Yeah, they have 21, 22, and there's a 22 PX one that's available. Check out Whiskey World. There's a PX that's fully matured in PX.
I'm gonna have to try that out, definitely, because I love some Lecheg. The oldest one I have is a 19, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's I'm a big fan, and I had a great last night. I had a fantastic. I need to find out what bottle it was, but it's an independent bottling from a buddy of mine that was just really, really good. And I need to try to find that bottle.
I think I know the reason why he doesn't like this, and the reason I'm guessing at this, Dustin. So correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, it's he thinks it's weird as heck for a 17-year because it has some very bright, sparkly wood that's like freshly cut wood kind of feel to it. And for a 17-year, I know that sounds crazy, but with the white pepper and the
he says
fruit,
it's getting better. He says it's getting better.
With the fruit, it's really got some nice undertones to it that I think balances it out. But I mean, that's the tough thing with a lot of these, and it's not his fault or anything. What I've noticed is that when I review some of these, the especially if I haven't gone past the halfway point,
Right.
you don't really give the whiskey its full justice, because that Kalila 17 unpeated is a prime example where I hated it for the first 6 months. It was the worst whiskey, one of the worst whiskeys I've ever had. It was overly briny, overly olivey, very oily. It was very extremely salty. It just was horrible, unbalanced. Just atrocious bullshit. 1.75 out of 5. And then I swear to God, 6 months later, I let it sit out. I decanted it. I came back to it. 4.75 all day long, dude. It's
Really?
the craziest shit, but I swear it happens.
4.75. Wow.
It was that big of a difference. I
There's
mean,
been very
he says
few
he's had
whiskeys.
it open for 3 years. Oh, come on, man. Oh, it was past the neck for 3 years.
I'll be honest
That's
with
the
you.
problem.
This is my issue with whiskey like that. I mean, if I got to open a damn bottle for 3 years for it to get good, it's not worth buying.
No, he had it at the neck pour for that long. That's the problem.
Gotcha.
See,
Okay.
he has to get. I mean, to me, I it's funny of all the people, and I'm not saying Swami's the best, but Swami had a great idea that if you do a judgment on a bottle, you have to get it at least like 2/3 done before you can make a judgment, because
Yeah.
the neck pour, even like the halfway like top label point, and then here, and then down here is even different on some of these bottles.
I look at it like that too. Well, in a way, but I don't look at it quite to that. I mean, I've got to halfway like it if I'm gonna open it. If I don't like the whiskey when I open it, then it's not a good purchase for me. I don't care how good it gets. I really don't care.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't give a shit how good it gets, because I might. I mean, it's got to. I want it to at least grab me a little bit. At least,
Hold on.
It might not be the best, but I want it to grab me some.
Hold on. Have you ever had a whiskey that where you've opened it and you're like, holy bad, this is like 1-2 star whiskey, and then 6 months, maybe 8, a year later, you come back and it's like almost a 5. Have you ever had that happen before?
I don't think so.
Give it a try, man. If you ever have
I don't know. I'm not trying to buy shitty bottles.
No. I'm just saying, if you ever open what I'm saying, I'm not saying buy shitty bottles. I'm saying if you open a bottle and you hate it, absolutely detest it, please promise me that you're going to put it away. You're going to put it away and decant it. And if you have to force decant it with an actual decanter, I swear it'll make a huge difference, and you'll be like, "Wow, I did not waste money on this purchase."
Well, or I'll go
that
ahead
did
and just
save
sell
me a few
samples
times
out of it. But I mean, or let my buddies try it. I'm trying to think of anything that kind of comes to mind that I just really dislike that I I don't. There's nothing I've really truly just hated that I've bought, honestly, because I'm very particular in what I'm buying.
But if you ever do have something, I'm saying, even if it takes a few years, if
Yeah,
you, I mean, here's the thing: if it takes a few years, then it's obvious that it needs forced decanting. So pour that stuff in an actual
right.
wine decanter and let it oxidize as much as you can, because it won't take 3 years if you do it right. And this has happened with to
Yeah,
me,
yeah. If you
or
want
not
to
just one or
decant it,
two
that's fine.
bottles. This happens to me on like 10, 11, 12 different bottles. It happens a lot.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll open a bottle and I'll hear people say, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," and I'm like, I don't get it. It doesn't feel right. And then even after
You
if
know,
I
I
don't
have one
decant
that
it
I
a
kind
year
of want
later,
to.
it
I do
still
have one
feels
that I kind of
tight.
want to decant a little bit, just to because I had a sample that was really, really, really good, and I haven't got to that level yet with it. And it's a little cheg. It's a 13-year-old whiskey exchange bottling that was
Ooh,
it's sherried,
what's the ABV on that one?
57.4.
I knew it was high, man. As soon as I saw that bottle, I'm like, that's an old one, man. Come on.
Yeah, but it's just it hadn't reached a level of what I had to sample. So yeah, this is probably one that's going to sit for a while. I mean, it's still good. I like it still. It's just not quite to that really, really like I was like, this is great. So yeah, it
And the
probably needs to
opposite
sit.
the opposite happens too, where I've opened a bottle, and the prime example of this is the Mortlock 15 Game of Thrones bottle that I had. The first like month or two, it was really good. After the first month or two, it was horrible. It did not oxidize
I,
well at all.
I've had a bottle like that that comes to mind, and it was a Springbank. It
Ooh,
was
even
a
better.
it was an 8-year single cask Springbank sherry, first fill sherry. And when my buddy opened it up, and we had it because I had like 3 bottles or something of it, and he opened one up first, and we tried it, and it was so good for an 8 years. Like my one of my favorite 8 years ever, like sub 10-year-old whiskeys. I was like, this is so good. This is incredible. Just the notes. And then we tried it only like 3 or 4 weeks later, and it had just fallen off, man.
And that happens a lot with
I was
whiskey to me
super
too.
surprised.
Yeah.
And but it was still all right. It was fine, but it wasn't to the level that was that really that when we just first opened it up.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that happened with me. The new Scorch, that new Ardbeg Scorch was the same damn thing. When I first opened it, it was so damn good. It was like a 4.25
yeah,
out of
Chris
5.
Chris
It was.
S had the same problem. It just yeah, don't you hate that when you do that? It's just like man, I wanted to keep that level.
Did you try this new Scorch at all?
Mm-mm.
Did you have a
The committee release, yeah.
when you opened it the first time I had the committee? The first time I opened it, nosed it, and everything, it was exceptional.
Yeah.
And then after like a month or two, it just seemed like it kind of just didn't
Really?
feel the same to me. I
Right.
don't know why, but yeah, it happens
Okay. Yeah,
sometimes.
I don't know if I've had it like it was my buddy's bottle, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I let him. I honestly I let him buy it because I was
I
like,
think you
hey,
did a great job with that, because even though it was a good bottle,
yeah,
unless you drank it quickly, I don't think it retained the niceties that you're used to. You know what I
got it.
mean?
Okay. No, that's good to know, man. I mean, I just
Metallic notes on the finish. What, Dustin? What the hell, man? Come on. There's no metallic notes on.
well,
Are
that's
you
what he's
serious?
getting.
I
That's
gotta
what
go
he's
back for
getting.
this.
That's what he's getting.
I gotta try it again and see if
It's all
I get any of
subjective,
this.
man. It's all
I
subjective.
know, but I'm just like, damn, he is like. I'm gonna try to see if I can get anything off the finish that's metallic-y wise. He got a bit of an alcohol burn and a overly spicy. Let me see if I mean, I did get the spice. It's very woody whiskey. I will agree that this is overly woody. If you don't like a woody, I'm not. I mean, I don't like a really dark oaky whiskey, but I like a bright, effervescent, mapley, bright whiskey. So to me,
What?
it's
You're
yeah.
right.
I mean, I know
That
it's
does not sound.
crazy, but
That does not sound. I don't know. Maybe I come from my bourbon days, but that does not sound good at
I know
all.
you might not like it, but to me, it's not bad. It's actually a good thing, but it is subjective on that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It does have a youthful woodiness to it, but I'm trying to get this metallic thing he's talking about. I mean, I got a lot of fruit, a lot of fresh cut wood. white pepper. I'm trying to get this. I mean, it is got a spice kick to it, but
Yeah.
man, it is tough. Someone said this happens to me uh, too ever so often. Great on opening, disappointing on the third or fourth try. Those are the bottles that you should anti-decant. You should like put the private preserve in
Yeah.
if you have
That's
a
what I
private
do.
preserve Sprite thing.
Yeah.
You spray that shit in there for a split second and then cork it right away. Those are the bottles you should do on those that you know that are going to be
I
very.
do that. I do that to a lot of my bottles, and I've never had a problem with that I can like to the extent that I could tell that it's even after 2 or 3 years. So
You know what's sad is that I have the private preserve in my closet and I've yet to use it, and I've got to use it on some of these bottles.
I go
I
through a
really do.
decent amount of it.
I
But
need to.
I mean, I don't know. I think it does work. Now it's got to have a good seal. I mean, you got to have a good cork, and that's the issue, right? If you don't have a good cork, it's not going to help anyway.
Yeah.
So so you got to have a good cork. That's really important. I even do this on the ultra high end bottles. I'll drink it and I'll take my parafilm even and spray it in there, and then I'll wrap that son of a bitch up again, even if it's been opened with parafilm, to kind of just make that seal good. And if I like where the whiskey is, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I
No,
got
I should do. I should do
so
that with the Ardbeg 19. Probably. I have the first batch of the Ardbeg 19 in there. I should probably do it to that.
yeah,
Probably of all
yeah.
bottles.
I mean, and some that I want to have open, like this Lecheg that I said that it's not quite where I thought it would be. I'm letting it kind of just air a little bit, and kind of just let it sit, and it's over half done, so it's 3/4. Just let it see what happens to it, because I've got another bottle of it already. So if it if that's the case, if it does help, then I'll probably decant it. Probably,
Yeah.
So
Let me see what he says real fast here.
yeah,
Okay, so if it were scored to explain this, the elements of the quality cask with some interesting malt and also just youthful trash over the top spice, and the balance turns to hell. Wow. He he's getting like a lot of spice from the Stram, and I mean I get spice, but oh, I think it says device is not connected. Steve, if you can hear me, it says device is not connected. Try to reconnect if you can, please, and I will get you back in here. But anyway, he says, okay, so if we're to score to explain this, there are elements of quality casp, some with interesting malt, and also just useful trash over the top spice. Okay, so let me. I get the spice that he's getting. I'm trying to see if I can get. I'm pouring this like crazy. I'll probably end up finishing this bottle tonight at this rate, there, Dustin. It's pretty awesome, though, actually. Let me see. Oh man, I saw your new comment. I'm gonna go to that in a second. Hold on. Oh, I think I got. There he goes. You there?
I am here. Yeah, sorry, I had an Amber Alert on my phone and it kicked me off.
Oh shit! Everything okay?
Yeah, I didn't look at
Well,
it.
hopefully everything's okay. If you're in Nashville,
Well,
Tennessee,
yeah, it's an Amber Alert. I'll look at it afterwards. There's no one in my whiskey room, so I can't really do anything
no, I hear you, but you know what I mean. In your
Yeah,
area, if you're in Tennessee and watching this, keep on the
right.
lookout for a little girl or boy that's probably trying to find their way home.
Yeah, that's right.
It's more to me spice than oak. Okay, there's a nice element of cask finishing here. Well, he's opening up. See, this is what kills me. He'll say a statement like this: "There is a nice element of cask finishing here," but he'll still give it
Yeah.
a 1 out of 5, dude.
Andrew does something that works well too. What you see what he's talking about. He says he doesn't use spray, which is expensive, so that's a good thing. But he decants it
True.
into puts it in smaller bottles, which I have done that too before. So yeah, not a great presentation, but practical, totally practical. That's a good thing to do. And you can get the really nice. They're not nice, but they're very practical. But the Boston round bottles that come in a brown, the brown bottles, you can buy the Boston brown, the brown ones, or the clear, or the blue, or whatever color, green. And it has a good seal top, and you can use those, and those work really well too. They're
No.
called Boston Rounds. You can get those on Amazon.
Awesome, man. I'll have to
Yeah.
get. I'm gonna take a look
And
at
you can get
that.
them in because I use those for sample bottles, right? So you can get them in 1 ounce, 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6, 8, 10, 12, what it goes up. So
Wow.
yeah.
I got a question for Dustin here. Okay, he says the spice to me is almost like touching my tongue to a 9-volt battery.
Oh
Now,
wow.
here's the thing. Now, here's the thing, Dustin. Please go ahead and add 3 small drops of water to this whiskey and tell me what you think afterward. I'm just curious because I think it's going to change for him. I'm just curious. I don't use spray, but I decant a lot of my bottles into smaller bottles. Not, oh, okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's actually good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think
Now,
that's
there's a question for you, Steven. Now, that's one thing that I have been doing over time. I think I'm like 2 years into it.
yeah.
It's extremely complex, but I'm not sure if it's good complex or not. Have you ever tried an Infinity or Solera bottle on your own?
I have a little bit on the Infinity. I have, but not. I just haven't got into it as much. But yeah, but I've done a small scale. Yes, I have.
On that small scale, the experiments that you've done, have you been happy with them or not
It's
happy or
fine. It's
different
just
kind of?
yeah, it did fine. It's nothing that better than anything I have. Really, that I have in my shelves. But it's just some of it seems a little disjointed.
Exactly. Let me ask you. I'll be right back. Give me like
Yeah,
just a minute
yeah,
or
yeah. Go
two. I'll
ahead.
be right back. I'm gonna get my list of what I've done with my Solera bottle. I'll come back and talk to you guys about it in a second. Just give me
Yeah,
one
you got to
second.
see Dustin's comment when you get back too. Yeah, I'll show this. I don't know if anybody on here, but I'll show Dustin because I don't think he was on here earlier. But I know he'll appreciate this. But while he's gone, my most recent auction purchase, Dustin. This is the Glengoyne 40-year-old 1972 cast strength. Just wanted to show you that. That's check out the reviews on Whiskey based on that one, and then what Serge said about it. It's one of the best Glengoynes I feel like that's ever been bottled. So I'm pretty excited about that purchase. Just got it in. Yeah, yeah, I might tell him about that. Yeah, it's pretty excited about that one. Being a birth year bottle, that's kind of probably overpaid for a little bit, but I think it'll be. I have a feeling it'll be worth it. So, what's anybody else drinking? Andrew, what are you drinking anything? And who else? Cohen, are you still on? What are you guys drinking? Let me know. I'm still drinking the Lecheg 21 Marcella cast finish. So it's a finished product, 21-year-old cast strength though, 55.8% ABV. Quality, it's really good. Good, wasn't super expensive. For 21, it's probably over $200 to something, I believe. They've gone up a little bit, I think, since I bought this one. But yeah, it's a sweet peat. Very nice. I think Lecheg is one of the nice diamonds in the rough still that you can still buy for a decent price.
Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I was talking about that Glengoyne a little bit. Letting Dustin see that. Then I think Dustin says that, yeah, he's kind of liking it, I guess. Yeah.
I knew he would come around eventually. That's
probably,
okay.
Yeah, he's just drunk, probably.
This is my Solera bottle. I've been taking notes on different options. Yeah. I'll read it to you so you don't have to look at my scroll scratch. But I wanted to do a non-peated sherry type of mix. So I started with a Blair Athol 12-year Flora and Fauna bottle. Then I did the Daluane 16-year Flora and Fauna bottle. And then I did the the Craig Ellicky 23 exceptional cask, which is a cask strength.
Wait,
High
did you review that one? Did you review that one?
a while back, and it's really well done, man. It's one of my favorite bottles. The the Craigellachie 23-year exceptional cask series. It's a high ABV like cask
Yeah,
strength.
yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
It's really
See,
damn
I
good.
didn't like that one that much, but maybe they need to open up because it was a little.
It's very heavily walnutty, very heavily on the walnuts. It's very like bitter
Yeah,
kind
I
of
can't
tasting.
remember. Yeah, maybe better. There was. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I guess it was sulfur at all in that one.
Not in the Craigellachie 23 exceptional, but it had a very strong walnut bitter tone to it. I liked it
Yeah,
though because to me it balanced the sweetness that I got off the cask. But
yeah. If you could find the 19-year-old,
it's a very
the 19-year-old is.
there you go, yeah.
I think much better, but that's just me.
Okay, I'll have to try to find that. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah,
19 exceptional. Okay, I'll take you up on that.
yeah,
I put some Benrinus 15 Florinfano in here,
yeah.
and then the Deanston 20 Oloroso, the Macallan 18 Sherry Oak, the Glenlivet 21, the Glengoyne 21, the Glencadam 21, the Edgedower 21, the Glendronach 21, and the Cragganmore 20. So that's what I'm up to on this crazy Solera bottle. I tasted it recently and I'm like, it's good. It's just so different than what I've ever had. I'm wondering if I put too much maybe into it to really. I should probably fine tune it to like maybe 2 or 3 mixes
Hmm.
and call that maybe a better blend. Or do you think it's better to go through all the nuances and put a little bit of everything in to see what you get at the end? I'm not sure if there's a really right or wrong answer on that one. If you have an answer on that one.
To do what now? I'm sorry. I was like responding.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you had is it better to do a Solera bottle where you have like just 3 or 4 like solid picks, or is it better just to throw everything in there
I,
and over
I guess
time and see?
to me it would seem harder if you throw everything in there, right, to get it where it comes out and really kind of comes together. But happy. There's been probably happy. What's the term? It's the happy mistakes or happy. Just you never know. You could be some magic out of that too. So it's. I mean, I think it's interesting to try just to do it all. Just kind of keep adding to it and see how things change with it. But yeah, I just to me, I would probably want to do probably 5 or 6 if you really want to try
Yeah.
to do it serious. If you're, but I think it's a pretty cool experiment
It's
just to
kind of
kind of
like either way, yeah.
yeah,
It's like you can have a fun experience if you just want to see what happens, kind of thing.
right,
With
yeah, yeah,
an infinite, I call it an infinity bottle or
yeah.
that
That's
type of bottle.
infinity. Yeah, yeah.
But if
Just
you're
pretty
going
cool.
like a true blend bottle, then that's different. Then you're
Well,
kind
that's
of
what you
trying
think.
to fine
Yeah,
tune things. Yeah.
you fine tune. You can, you're doing what the blenders really do, right? You're like trying different things and putting them together, and the combination and the base and what you got to do a lot of work with that. But that would be fun too.
Have you had the new Aaron Sherry cast by chance? I've heard great things about it. I haven't had it myself, but I've
I
heard
almost
good
bought some
things.
Aaron here about 3 or 4 weeks ago because they're back in stock in a couple stores overseas, and yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on them. I just I do want to try it. I want to tell you, I haven't had the 18. I haven't had the 21 yet. I don't think I've had the 21 yet. No, I haven't. So I mean, I do want to try those and see. I mean, I've heard good things. So
I would start with the 21 because that was my whiskey of the year for 2020.
yeah.
It was that good compared to all. I mean, and you know me, I've tried all. I mean, I've tried Glencadam
Hmm.
21. I've tried the McKellen 18, the Holland Park 25. I mean, I've been through all the every distillery, all the 21s to 25s, and that one's pretty solid, I have to say. The Aaron 21 was definitely rock solid,
Yeah.
best new 21 year that I could think of in 2020, man. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
I missed out on the. I almost pulled the trigger again because it became available again. I probably should have, but a lot of the stores got their own picks on the 24-year-old Aaron single casks that were heavily sherried over in Europe, and they just came out with those here, a month ago. and I didn't pull the trigger fast enough on any of them because I think I felt burned a little bit about the 25, Aaron, honestly. And
I heard that you were not happy about
I
that
just
one.
wasn't. I had higher expectations for it, and it didn't quite meet those expectations. So,
That's sad. And this is the new 25 too, right?
yeah, yeah,
That to me, that's like the worst because I had such great feelings for what they were doing with their new stuff. They were like
yeah. No,
kicking ass with all this,
yeah,
like the quarter cask and the
yeah.
bothy and
Right,
the 18 and the 21. I mean, they were kicking ass.
right.
And for them to not deliver on the 25 makes
I
me
mean, a
kind of
lot of
really
people like.
sad.
I mean, well, some people don't. I mean, I don't think it got. I think it got middle of the road reviews. What I've seen from people that I trust. Some people
Right.
like. I mean, I know that Dustin liked it. And he's on, but we talked pretty at length about it online. So, but I just have other 25s I'd rather probably drink. The Bunahaben. It doesn't match the Bunahaben at all that I had earlier. The older style Bunahaben. And there's, and the Highland Parks and there's a lot of other things I'd probably rather drink on the 25. So, just I was a little disappointed. I was hoping that it would be better because I like Aaron. I think I'm rooting for Aaron. I think it's a fruity. I like to distill it. It's different.
Yeah.
It's not my normal peated, heavy peated. And of course they got the
They don't
lager
even
now,
need
but
peat. They're
yeah,
so good. They don't even need fucking peat.
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
good
yeah.
they
It's
are.
nice and fruity distillate. It really is. Yeah.
I wish you were. I wish so. God, I mean, to God, I wish you were like a next door neighbor to me, Steven, because I want to pour you a little bit of this Tuninic 17 because we're going back and forth with this. He's like, okay with water. I get the white pepper and the notes here with Telex, but my God, holding it in my mouth, it burns the hell out of my mouth with the alcohol and bitter. The thing. I just added a couple of drops to this. I'm gonna see if I'm getting what he's getting here. I'm still getting a nice fruity nose. Very woody though. I mean, I will agree with him. It's very sprightly woody with its profile, but
Yeah, I mean, Dustin thinks that I would have 100% have issues with it. I'm going to probably side with him. I probably, from the
yeah.
notes you're talking about, I probably wouldn't be my cup of tea. But
I mean, he's selling alcohol with bitter. I'm getting like a wave of. I mean, the white pepper is so intense.
I mean, I like white pepper. I mean, I love Talisker, so I mean, I love white pepper.
Oh man, it's tough. I don't want to equate it with a Talisker, but man, it's. I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but it's just I'm just trying to see what if there's any redeeming factors here. The 23 is major sulfur, but really the best way. I love that 23. Which 23 is he referring to? Do you know?
I think he was talking about the who Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the Craig Alecky that he likes.
Oh, the 23. Yes.
Yeah,
I
he thought it
don't
was
know.
He thought it was very sulfured. I think.
Give me 1 second. Let me give me
Yeah.
1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was all right. I mean, it was fine, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I like the 19 a lot more, but that was a neck pour. I think it was a neck pour. So just going by that, and it wasn't my bottle. So I didn't buy any. I bought the 19s. Yeah, Andrew, you are right. That Portiscake 10-year anniversary bottling, I've got probably 6 of them. And it is really, really good. It is a great 10-year-old Casterine Kalila, and I would highly recommend that if anybody can find that. It is quality Kalila at 10 years old Casterine at about $100. So it is if we did Telex, if we did your Kalila, we didn't do Kalila, but if you said anything $100 below Kalila, I would vote that bottle the best I've had from Cleveland. So good job, Andrew. You're right.
We just did that was the first bottle quest that we did with the $100 and $500 Kalila.
Was it? Okay, yeah. And I probably said that bottling then. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real fast. One
second.
Yeah. That would have been under new distillery, I think. 1 second. Let me see if I can find that that particular deal because I might have started a different. I'll have to go back and look at that episode, but yeah, I mean, we picked some really good $100 bottles and $500 bottles from that, or close to it as we could come
Yeah.
for Kalila on that deal.
All right, so I've been drinking the peat. I've been really on a peat kick. Yeah, I just love peat, but I'm gonna pour a little bit of that in Port Skeg to finish the night because that is
Nice, man. Port Seg, which year?
It's the 10-year anniversary one. So
Nice.
It's 10 years, 55.85. This is interesting. They do it. It's 55.85% ABV. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. Maybe I have. Maybe
55.85. You said?
Yeah, they rounded. 55.85. They take it out. So it's interesting. See.
Oh wow! Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me put you in the spotlight here 1 second.
That's they just say the 55. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there it is. 55.85. That's the
Nice.
10-year.
Okay. 10-year. Wow.
Yeah, it's so good, man. This is just one of the better younger Kalilas I've had.
What did you have to order that overseas, or could
I
you
bought
get that
them all
local?
locally. Yep.
Wow, that was a local buy. I'm surprised, man.
Yeah, no, they're available. You can get them.
The 23 is a major sulfur. Okay, I think he's talking about this one. This is one. Let me bring it out of here one second. Here we go. I think he's talking about this. Let me see if this makes sense. Are you talking about this one, Dustin? This is the exceptional cask 57.5.
What's the cask number on it? What's the cask number, Telex?
This is 1995 to 2014. I'm sorry, 23-year cask number 4575. Is 4575 the same cask that you had? I'm curious. Because he did. I remember he did like this as well as I did. The Korgeliki 23 55. I'm sorry, 57.5. I'm gonna pour this right now. Matter of fact, because this is a good one for Dustin. It's spot on. This is one of my favorite whiskeys of all time. I have to say.
This Kalila. I'll be honest with you. For the best value I've had tonight, it's up there with anything. I mean, I would drink this. It's not as complex as the other ones I've had tonight. It's not a Lagavulin 25, but it's from just a pure enjoyment standpoint. It is right there, man. It is such well done whiskey.
I'm pouring out this pour too spicy with water. It's just something I like it all. Probably don't like it all. It is some almost quality of a 3 years old, but for $200. Yeah, it's not worth the price. I'll agree with you there, man. Yeah. For a specialty bottle, I would definitely pass on it as far as it's definitely not like this Korgeliki or a Cragganmore, even Cragganmore 20, anything like that. So he likes the Aaron 25 over the Boone 25 and the HP 25. Wow, man.
Who said
That's saying a lot. That's Dustin, man.
Nah. Which HP 25? That's the issue.
That's good. That's a good question because there are different.
And which Buddha 25? The newer, maybe I haven't had the new 25, but I would definitely
makes a difference.
I do not think it's better than the old version 46%er.
It gets 100% your issues though in that, so that's a good thing. No, at least.
Do what?
He gets 100% of your issues that you get.
Okay, yeah. Let me see what he's saying here.
Not cask strength. It's 46% ABV. They also release a bourbon matured 12-year too in 2020. Worth it for $90 to $100. My favorite Port of Seg since the 10-year-old. Okay. Huh. A 12-year matured. That sounds good. Yeah, and Port of Seg is usually Kalila, but sometimes they fool you and pull off a Bunnahoven, I've noticed. So you have to be kind of wary of what they pull, because even though you think it's Kalila, sometimes they pull a Bunnahoven, I've noticed.
Well, you can tell what's Bunnahoven or Kalila.
I can, but I'm just saying that Port of Seg, will say it's 10 or 12 or 15.
You can also tell you can. I don't know about the 12. The 10 is Kalila. This what I'm drinking is Kalila, no doubt about it. And some of it, the older ones are lower. They have some older ones that are lower proof that are Buna that I know. I don't know about the 12-year-old or anything. Yeah, the sherry or. But I mean, if it's people should be able to tell. I mean, you would be able to tell anybody in our here watching this would be able to tell if it's Boone or Kalila.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the advanced guys, with people that don't know, the Kalila has more of a. I know Stephen probably wouldn't classify as vegetal, but it has a more, to me, it has a more earthy vegetal tone to it, maritime seashell kind of thing. Then Bunnahabhain is more of a more straight up fruit walnut, like a nutty kind of feel to it. It doesn't have as much maritime feel to me as the
Mm-hmm.
Kalila does. Is that the same with you?
Then what? I'm sorry. On what?
Bunnahabhain versus Kalila, like the Kalila has more of a vegetal, kind of a earthy, maritime seashell tone to it than
Yeah,
Bunnahabhain
yeah. There's
does.
more seashell. There's more coastal elements to
Yeah.
Kalila and Buna, no doubt about it. Especially, yeah, and of course peated, but even in the peated style, if you want to moin Buna, it's um,
You know what's really weird about this Krigeliki 23
yeah,
exceptional cast series? This one that I just poured that Dustin and I both love. This one has, to me, a very Highland Park kind of feel. It's got
really.
the first note I got is coming back at. I mean, I've been away from it for months. I've came back
Mm-hmm.
to it
Yeah,
recently. It's got this matchstick kind of, not sulfur, but heathery kind of matchstick feel to the.
that's that sulfur coming through, man.
It's not I mean, when I think sulfuric, to me, I think more of a Deanston Oloroso 20 year, or like
Yeah, but
a
you get the
Bowmore
matchstick too. That could
15
be
or something.
it's got a little sulfur. It does have sulfur. I mean, I
But
remember.
there's
I
a
recall it
huge
having some
difference
sulfur
between
in it.
sulfur and sulfur. I
Right. No, there's
mean,
different levels of sulfur. That's right. And
it's like massively. I mean,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
like
yeah,
the most smallest version of sulfur you could possibly get. I mean,
yeah.
you'd have to be really sensitive to sulfur, I think, to get the sulfur off this. To
Hmm.
me, this is more of a heathery peat, like a Holland Park kind of a peat.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's got the kind of smokiness that a Holland Park would have. What do you think, Dustin? He thinks it's a sulfuric bomb, but he thinks it's great at the same time. I see where he's coming from. It's funny because I think when I think sulfur, I think like that Deanston Oloroso 20 or the Bowmore 15 Darkest. That's got like crazy sulfuric notes, or like something like a Glenfarclas 25 kind of thing. But when it comes to this to me is more of like a freshly like hit a matchstick, and I burnt it, and it's got that kind of feel to it, like a fresh burnt, like lighter, like kind of feel to it.
I'm gonna tell you, this Kalila is
It's
one of my
this weird sulfur made to be good.
this
Maybe that's what
Kalila I'm
he's trying
drinking.
to.
Telex, I'm gonna tell you, it's in the top 10 of the best sub $100 bottles I've ever had, probably.
Wow, is it the 35?
No, no, no. This is the 10-year-old.
Hold what? Hold on,
I
what?
said sub $100.
Hold on. You've got a Kalila 10-year-old
Yeah,
right now that you're sipping. Which
yeah.
one is it?
It's the Portishead.
Oh, the Portishead 10-year
Mm-hmm.
is one of your favorite
10,
Kalila
10th,
10-years.
10th anniversary bottlings. I'm going to say it's probably because I love the coastal elements. I love Kalila. And it's probably one of the best sub $100 bottles, like top 10, I'd say, that
Wow.
I've had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's saying something too, man. I mean,
Yeah, no,
Portishead's no joke.
that's high praise. I mean, I don't think that's hyperbole. I think to me it's that good. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's a good balance. Sometimes with the Kalila and the ex bourbon, you get a little too sweet if they, especially the
Yeah.
first fill. But it's a great balance. It's very well done. Yeah, I'm going to say that. I mean, there's other ones too that are sub 100 that I love. But I mean, I can think of old Ugadal, that
Yeah.
like pre 2004 and 2005.
Oh God, yeah, big time.
There's some other ones, but this is top 10 probably that I've had sub $100.
Dustin's talking about the sulfur on this one. I'm wondering, what do you think, Dustin, of the Deanston Oloroso 20? Because if you think this is sulfuric, I'm wondering what you thought of the Deanston 20. Because that, to me, that was the most the most heavily sulfuric dram I've had outside of the Bowmore 15 that I could think of, and it's funky, man. I'm curious what you think about that one. I didn't. I liked it at first, And then I thought I'm not really as down with it as much anymore. What do you
Yeah.
think about that one? Have you had that one, Steven? The 20 decent Oloroso? Can you remember?
No, I haven't. I love Deanston 12, and I've liked some of their other Deanstons, but it's kind of like Boona to me now because they're owned by the same company,
Yeah.
parent company. But they're just kind of hit and miss. You got to try before you buy with them, I think.
I got to get you guys to try it. I want
Yeah.
Dustin and both Dustin and Steven to get a 20-year-old Oloroso's Deanston and
Do I
tell me
have?
what you think of
Hold
it.
on.
Because
Let me.
I'm really curious. Because at first I was kind of like down with it, and then after a word, I'm like, oh man, it's almost too much sulfur. It
I'll
really
try to
is
see what I
funky.
have. What do I have in Deanston? Hold on a second. I've got some Deanstons here. And I thought I had. Did I drink all that one?
James Morgan's got a decent 5-year-old Kalila blend called Smoky Scott. How the fuck did you find that? Oh, he's in the UK, I bet. You're in the UK, aren't you, James? You lucky bastard. I mean that in a good way, man.
I
That's
thought I had
hilarious.
a Deanston 20, but or maybe it's an 18. I think I had an 18. That really wasn't that good.
The 20 Oloroso, yeah, the 18 is more of an ex-bourbon straight up 18 year
Yeah,
old.
this wasn't. I don't think it was totally ex bourbon, but I could be wrong. But I thought I still had it.
Wow, Dustin says out of 700 bottles, he does not have a Deanston. That's surprising. Deanston does do a good job. I mean, on one hand, I'll agree with you guys that Roy doesn't get it right 100% of the time, but with Deanston, they have some really great bottles. The only one that I'm kind of like I'm not sure about is the 20 Oloroso. So I'm really curious of what you guys think of that one when you get a chance to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the Deanston 12, and that's it right now. Looks like I did have the 18. I don't think it was the 20. I think it was an 18. It was all right. It wasn't. It wasn't anything special.
James, do you have any Deanston? And if you do or don't, let me know. And if you do, let me know what you think of some of the if you have the 20, the 18, the 10 PX was a great bottle. That
Yeah,
was
I
my
heard good
favorite
things
one.
about that one. Yeah. Yeah. Look, they're doing. Look, they are. I'm not gonna. I think they're doing things right. I think they're. Um, they're non-chill filtered, right? They're no color added. They've got mostly got age statements, other than like the virgin oak or whatever, but they've got age statements, so they're doing things right. It's just I'd like to see a little bit more from them. I think I just want to see. I just haven't had anything that's really jumped out to me in the last few years. Their 12 is fantastic. I think their
Hold
12 is
on,
great.
he said it was 150 where he was. Oh my god, let me see something. I gotta check something out before we.
150 for wait,
Me,
what? The Deanston 12?
that's crazy, man. Hold on.
That's like a 40 something dollar bottle or
So I was
50.
thinking, I was like, something's wrong here. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah.
something
That's
local.
right. So he just had them. They were missed. The problem is he's in Ohio, so it's a state-run store, so
Oh,
they don't know what the f they're doing, right? So,
well,
which can
Ohio
help you sometimes, which can help you um,
is Ohio like Pennsylvania where they have their own state?
yes, yes, it's
Oh,
like
I didn't know
Alabama,
that.
Pennsylvania,
Oh, but
North Carolina.
he's in Cincinnati. He can easily go to Kentucky or
Oh, I'm sure
Indiana
he
or any
does.
other
I'm
state.
sure he
Yeah,
does. I'm sure he does.
the 12 in here in Maryland is $60, dude. What the hell?
That's
That's
expensive in
crazy.
Maryland. That's expensive for it.
$60 for 12? No,
That's
that's pretty like
I
run of
thought
the
it was 50
mill.
something at the most, but maybe here it's
Well,
50
it's
something.
59.99. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it was
the
okay. Maybe it's like 54 here, so it's like,
oh, okay.
but that's still 10%.
Five, you get $5, man. Come on.
10%, brother. You got to get money where you can. I'm.
No, I hear you. I'm not knocking you. I think it's funny. But for 150, dude, that's crazy money for that. Yeah, pricing error for sure. It was a Kentucky store. Okay,
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
How does he even sell Easton? That's sad, man. You should write
Yeah,
to.
well, but if you want Weller, 107, you can get that all day long. So in
He should.
Ohio.
If I lived in Ohio and I was like had to deal with him, I would write to them and be like, "Look, I need to get some Diensten. Buy me some Diensten
Yeah,
12, man. Come on.
yeah,
It doesn't hurt if you get enough people to write to you and be like,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
order me some shit."
yeah. No, that's not gonna
Come
work.
on, man. If you have enough people to do it, it can get done.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I
He
wish, I
doesn't think
wish, I
so.
wish I had the power like that, or Dustin had the power, so he could get Ohio to change
There's
what they
got to
were
be a start, man. There's got to be a movement. You got to start somewhere. Come on, man.
doing. Oh man, just yeah,
Went
it just
50 for 3 months before they emailed. No wonder they'd never sold it.
yeah, they're not gonna sell that for 150. I feel maybe they did, and I really feel sorry for the guys, somebody who bought that for 150. Right, they did.
If they sold that for 150, dude, I'd be like, wow. You guys should pay the marketing team in Ohio to supplement like Ohio, Deanson's income because that's crazy.
That's funny.
That's
Wow,
nuts.
that is crazy. I think that, yeah, I had something. What was here? I think it was Emirate Fusion was at one store here.
Ooh.
Was marked for like $45, and that was a good deal. So I did buy a few of those at that price because that was really cheap for it. That's the problem. We get so much Amaret here. I mean, we got the Spectrums coming. They got a new Spectrum coming out in November that we're going to get here in Tennessee. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice, man.
yeah. So
Are you
it's
gonna be Are you gonna be around next Tuesday by chance?
yeah, probably so. Yeah, of
All
course.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I'll definitely have you and maybe throw out an invite to Dustin, maybe on the side, possibly if he's
yeah.
interested, and we can do a couple. What do you guys want to do? If we're gonna do like a little comparison, what would you like to compare? I mean, it's really up in the air. I don't mind either way. Just let me know what you want to do.
I mean, to draw the viewers in. Oh, Justin asked about. Okay, hold on. I answer this question because have I had the Fusion X? Have I had the Fusion X?
Ooh, he has had the Fusion X. Ooh, damn!
I've had a few of them. So
Look at
now
that shit,
it
dude. That's
is. It
crazy.
is. I would say it's worth the money. It's really good. It's really good. It's
How much were we talking about, Steven?
300, over 300.
That's not bad for a specialty
Well,
like
it
Lord
is
of the
very,
Ring,
it is very special. You look at it. I think I forgot what my buddy called. See, they called this like it was. He thought he called it a jar of maple syrup.
Wow, he loves it too. Mike and
Well, no, the
Dustin
look
reviewed
of
it and
it, the
loved
look
it.
of it. He based it on the ceramic here, the kind of the way it looks. He's like,
330 US. Wow, man. Is it
yeah,
330 right
so
now?
that's right, 330, and it's oh, he loves it too. Good. I'm glad they
Oh,
reviewed it. I'm glad because there's not any reviews out there. I mean, it's the very,
ah,
it's not known. I mean, there's only, I was going to say a little over, is there 1,000? Is that right? A little over 1,000 in the United States, I believe, over the entire United States. And I bought, a lot of them. So,
James is
um,
in the UK. He's never seen one, so it's definitely a US only release.
well, no, it's worldwide. It's a
Oh, is it
worldwide
worldwide?
release, but it's
Wow. Okay.
very, there's only like, let me see here. Let me read about and I did know. Okay, here we go. Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. There is 1,010 bottles worldwide. And there is there's only probably 100 something bottles in the United States, I believe. 216. Thank you. 216 bottles released in the United States. I have 8 of
Wow,
them.
dude.
So,
You got one of 216. That's insane, man. You're
yeah.
lucky.
So it's, it is really good. It's really good. Yeah.
I gotta get my hands on something like that at some
It's the
point, maybe.
PX.
Thank
They did
God
a
I do
really good
Scotch and
job in
not Indian
PX.
whiskey.
It's got some peat to it. It has got. It's a beautiful presentation. Yeah, I think it's great.
Man, thank God I hone it to Scotch because if I branched out, man, I would be all over
It's
something
malt
like
whiskey,
that.
man. It's the same thing. Just reach out and do
I
it.
know, but it's like my God, as a collector, if I branched out too much, I'll never fucking I'll never be done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a very rare bottle, and for some reason we got a ton of them. And of course, any if we have a ton of them here. Anything you want for Amrut, we get here. A lot of them. So um, it's definitely worth the price. I think it's really cool too. You could tell if it's been opened or not. They have an NFC tag on it, so you can register it, and then you can use your phone and scan it, and you can tell if it's been opened or not.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of cool.
I might have to try this system out just to see how it goes. If I'm lucky enough to find a deal on that one.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely, if you can find it, I would recommend it. It's they released it to celebrate the release of the Fusion in India. The 10-year anniversary is what
That's
they
huge too, man. Fusion and I mean all the Emirates stuff is high quality class,
yeah,
man.
I
I've
think so.
always liked it. I mean, I like them a lot better than Paul John and any other like Indian distillery that I could think of. Really,
Yeah, I mean, Dustin says my soul to get it. Well, I mean, there's only 216 bottles in the United States, so it's I think it's not a bad. I don't think it's a bad purchase. I mean, it's
No,
I haven't even really sold any secondary. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm just I like it. It's a good bottle. I think I maybe sold one to a friend on for retail. So,
yeah.
but they're still here in Nashville. There's still some in Nashville. So
That when I get my ass out there, I'll have to go by
yeah,
and
I'll
let
take you.
you have me help me do some Emirate
I'll
purchasing
take you to a
possibly.
couple, 2 or 3 stores that I know them really well. We'll go to the back room and try some whiskeys and see what they have for you. So,
Do you know Digger, man? Just be honest. Do you know Digger and Mark?
who? What?
Digger, you know Digger, don't you?
Digger?
Yeah, Digger, man. Come on.
What? I don't know what. I have no idea.
Oh, I've always been a huge fan of the Moonshiner series, and the guys out in the Cook County in Tennessee, they do a lot of moonshine out there.
Okay.
Digger and Mark are one of my biggest. I'm a huge fan of the whole series. I was wondering if you knew any of those guys out
No,
there.
no, no, no idea. But I mean, look,
That's
that's all.
sad, man. It'd be awesome because they brew their own stuff like in house on site in
Yeah, but I don't like
Tennessee, man.
underage whiskey. Though. I don't like moonshine.
Yeah, I know. It's not
My
aged
family used
whiskey,
to
but
run moonshine back in the '60s. So I mean, and '50s. So I mean, yeah.
I need some Connor stuff, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah, no, it's moonshine. It's not, there's no good moonshine, man.
Oh, come on. There's got to be some stuff.
No, no, it's not.
I don't like the corn stuff. I'm tempted to find a way to get some non-corn based moonshine that I like.
Wait, well, I don't even know what that is. Then I don't. It's all corn based.
Rye, baby, rye. I need some moonshine rye. That would be awesome.
Well, you come to the wrong part of the country if you want rye moonshine because it's not down here. It's all corn, man. It's all corn.
He's doing some Emirate. Let's say he's doing some Emirate X tomorrow. Do you know what that is?
Oh, well, this is they're releasing. They reviewed that the bottle that I showed you the X Emerald X, the Fusion X.
Oh, the Fusion X. Gosh.
Yeah, the Fusion X. That's what he's talking about. So it looks like they reviewed it. That's great because that's no one has reviewed it. That I mean maybe they have now, but I when I first looked for it, no, there was no mention of it. So.
I'll be looking at that then to see what they think of it. Because if they like it and you like it, I might have to get me a bottle of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's not because I like it. It checks all the boxes. It's not it's not a normal bottling. It's tough to get. It's not easy to get if you can find it. It's some areas sounds like Dustin in Ohio they got more and. Here in Tennessee, they got more, but in some parts of the country, or where James hadn't seen it, so it's might not be released much where he is. So it's by the luck of the draw if you can get them. So
Yeah. I really, really, really appreciate you coming by tonight,
yeah,
man.
man,
Dustin
it's fun.
and James and everybody else that's been hanging out with us tonight. I really, really appreciate it, and we'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll be
Yeah,
let me know in the comments this week what you'd like to see us do. If we
yeah.
don't get
I
enough,
mean,
material, we'll
maybe
just pick
like
something.
I
So.
don't know whatever anybody else has any maybe post something on Instagram asking what they want to see, but
I will do that
yeah.
now and before the next show to see what we can get because I'm kind of curious to see what people want to see on the comparison shootout kind of
Yeah,
deal.
maybe. I think one thing. I mean, I'll throw a couple things out, but I think the Lefroy, if you can get that, the cartridge, that would be a good one,
I
the TX.
I will definitely be all
Compare
over
it to
that.
last year's version, if you still have
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh God, yeah. That's that should be a night and day comparison.
yeah.
Hopefully,
So that's one thing, or
I think you had a great deal with the Isla 12 year. Pick an Isla 12 year that you like the best, and
yeah,
go
yeah.
with
I
that
wait,
too.
wait. I guess. Well, I mean, I'm going to go Lagavulin if you pick that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
That's a
sorry. I'm
that's
going
an
to say
easy.
it
That's an
well,
easy.
depends on the
That's too
year, though.
easy.
Depends on the year, but I'm going to go for
I
that
guess
one.
I should say a core release
Yeah. Okay.
Isla release would be an option, or a core
Sure.
like sherry release, or a core Highland just basic
Yeah. Yeah.
release.
We'll come up with something fun for
We
everybody.
can call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds good. All
Thanks
right.
so much for coming by, guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next Tuesday. And thanks so much, Stephen, for coming by, man.
Enjoyed it. All right. See you guys.